You good to start? Oh, actually, I should have asked you if we good to start. We good to start?
Yeah, we're good to start. We're good to go.
All right, and we're on. So I'm here with Percival. Percival Mwambi. So I know him as Percy. Percy No Mercy, as we call
Perci No
him.
Mercy. Yeah. Everyone knows me as Perci No Mercy.
Yeah. So I'll just turn that down a bit. Yep. So that's nice in your face. So yeah, as I was saying to Percy just before we started all this, with the way the mics work, is there's like this noise gate. So the better when you speak into it, just has a clearer sound, and then when you talk away from it, it cuts out, which is good because it cuts out all the background noise. Saves me a lot of editing because I don't do a lot of editing.
But you just put it like that.
Yeah. Like, so for me, the process is really simple. Like I record the videography on my phone, so I can see the shot. It's nice and straightforward. I don't have to worry about batteries. I don't have to worry about all that sort of stuff.
That's
and
good.
then I sync up the audio. So that was a little bit tricky at the start because I think the Rodecaster and then the iPhones record in different formats.
Oh,
You probably know about this, right?
Yeah.
So then although it might sound in sync at the start, when you get to the end, one of them's slower than the other. So there'd be a delay. So you got to actually synchronize it and match it up.
This is why I started fighting. All this sitting on the computer editing, I was like, oh, no, this is not for me.
It's hard work, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think people really appreciate just how hard the editing side is. Like, so you've probably seen I do like sometimes I'm doing fight studies, right?
Yeah.
And like, so when I basically, well, I'm like sort of semi-unemployed. I'm like stay-at-home dad now. So,
it is what it is.
so one of my plans was I'm obviously focusing on the podcast and doing an episode a week in terms of the podcast. And then I was thinking, I'll try and do a fight study a week as well. But, when I do these fight studies, sometimes I go so deep that it's there's like, like to put one study together, I've probably watched 10, 15 fights. Maybe some of their back catalogue to just really see, what's going on here. And then the editing, like by the time so there's always a tipping point, right? So I get to this point where I'm probably say 80% of the way through, 80 to 90% of the way through. I've got the voiceover in, I've got the editing done, and I'm like just slowly clipping together all these clips. And it's like, I'm so over it.
Yeah.
Like
It drains you.
Yeah. This study should have been done and I'm always thinking like, oh, this study should have been out last week, and then it's taken me 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Just because of the editing side of it.
Yeah. You see a video on like Instagram or something, and then you're like, oh, I could do that. It's easy.
Yeah.
And then you go do it, and then you have to sit on a computer for hours.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, this is terrible. Like, but it's good when you actually finish it.
Yep.
And then you look at the product and you're like,
yeah, it's come out nice.
Yeah.
So, okay. So for people that don't know Percy, so how I know Percy is we train together at MMA Family Fight Team.
Yeah.
And Percy's had a few fights already.
Yeah.
And I think there's something there, and I just thought I'm always interested in people. I want to know more about the story, and so that's why this sound engineering thing only literally came up just before we started this podcast. I'm like, we're gonna get into all that. Yeah, because and this is the thing that people don't appreciate. Whether it's in a workplace or at the gym or where you train or at school, like a lot of the times, we only have this surface level understanding of who people are.
Yeah.
Right. And it's you don't really know what they've done or what they've had to go through, or what are some of the skeletons in their closet. And look, people don't normally just go up to people and go, hey, I'm Johnny, I got all these problems.
Yeah.
Right. But I think when the good thing about martial arts is when you've hit each other in the face enough times, you sort of can cut through all the small talk.
Yeah.
And actually go straight into the heavy stuff.
Yeah, that's like when I'm sparring with some guys for, let's say, a couple months, and I'm like them, but you don't really know them. Like, it's like, I want to, like, when I spar with someone or when I train with someone, I'm like, oh, I want to start knowing this person. Why are they so, like, why do they do certain things in, like, sparring? Like, why are they so aggressive? Where are they getting this? Why do they have so much cardio? It's like little stuff like that makes me like just want to know more about the person that I'm training with. Yeah. But if it's someone that I've like just known and then for like a month or something, I don't really.
Yeah, you don't think about it.
Yeah, it's just like I train and I go home.
Yeah.
But if it's someone like over and over and over, you start like finding little patterns about someone, and you're like, oh, why do they do this?
Yeah.
Like, and then they tell you, and you're like, oh, that's why you do this. It's like that's why your defense is so good because you don't want to get hit. It's just like little stuff like that. It's interesting when you get to know people.
Yeah.
in MMA or even boxing
Yep.
or sports in general.
So okay, well let's talk a little bit about the martial arts side because we already touched on it. So, did you train other styles of martial arts before moving into mixed martial arts, or did you start with mixed martial arts first and then trying to get the other like I guess more specific sport specific training in those other sides?
I started off with this when I was in primary school.
Okay.
Back in Kenya, because I was born in Kenya.
You're born in Kenya, yep.
Yeah, I started off with Taekwondo, but I wasn't really taking it seriously. I was just doing it because it was like an afternoon class thing. And then when they used to bring in, because I was in a private school, so they used to bring in a Taekwondo coach to just fill in the afternoon classes. So I used to do that for just to pass time.
Yep.
And then they had a tournament for Taekwondo. Like I trained a couple months as like primary school, and then they were doing that. Do you know that stance where then they're like Taekwondo?
Okay, yep.
They have that weird stance where it's like a wide stance.
Yep.
So I did that, and then I was meant to have a tournament, but me and my friend just didn't even. We went to the tournament, but we just started going away, and then we just started playing around, and we ended up. They called my name, but I was not there. I was outside playing.
Yeah.
So and then I was just like, and then unfortunately my coach died.
Oh wow.
He got killed, and it just stopped. Like I just stopped doing Taekwondo.
Hold on, okay, so let's go back a step. So how old were you when you had started this Taekwondo thing?
Probably like I want to say 9, 10.
9 or 10. Yeah. Right, and then so how long did you get to train with him before he passed away or got killed?
Probably not even like a whole. Probably like a couple months, 6, 7 months.
6, 7 months.
So, but it was like every afternoon, maybe like 2 days of the week.
Yep.
But it was just like for fun.
Yeah.
Because me and my mates, we just wanted to play around and say, oh, what is this? What are they doing Taekwondo for? But I was kind of taking it seriously at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I had that connection with like not fighting, just like the competition side. I was just like, and then I remember the night before or that day morning when I went to that tournament, I was living with my auntie, and then I told her, I'm going to come back with a medal, so you better get ready. And then I full on didn't even do the tournament. And I was just like, this is... And then I came back home, and I was actually really excited to get a trophy.
Yep.
Because for some reason, I'm always like, I want to like get something to take home.
Yeah.
You know, so I can
bring
show,
something. Yeah.
But I ended up not even doing the tournament.
Yeah.
Which is... It's all good. You
That's
never
right.
know that. Everything happens for a reason.
That's
so,
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then when your coach, Taekwondo coach, was killed, like, how I guess, how did they break the news to you? Was it just like, there's no Taekwondo? Like, I guess, what do you remember about that?
It was actually kind of weird because I was asking about what happened to the Taekwondo classes, and one of my friends was like, "Oh, coach got killed," and I was like, "What?" And it was just like, he got killed, or maybe he got shot or something, or maybe got stabbed or something. And yeah, it was just like it was a weird thing there, but I didn't get the full story, but I know he got killed.
Yeah.
And yeah, we never talked about it, and then we just moved on, and then I forgot about Taekwondo.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
Okay. All right. So then, did you do any other martial arts in Kenya, or was it the rest of it was when you came here?
The rest of it was when I came here. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go back even one more step then. So because Taekwondo was when you were 9 or 10. So you were born in Kenya.
Yeah.
And you're the middle child of 3, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So then, how much older? Sorry. So is it a brother, then you, and then your sister, or sister?
Sister, me, brother.
Okay. So then, in terms of like, I guess the family dynamic, what was it like for you, growing up as the middle child? And I'm curious because, my son Harley's the middle child of my 3 as well. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not bad being the middle because you get to do what you want. Like you choose what you want, and it's like you're non-existent at the same time, but you're still there, but no one really notices you're there. It's like if you go missing for 2 days, it's like, oh, Percy's not here,
Yeah.
It's like, it's not bad, but it's like, I had to find my own way of get different stuff. To if I wanted something, I had to go get it. You know, I can't just somebody can't really hand it to me. When I was younger, I used to just find ways to get stuff that I wanted my own way, which is like I'm still doing it now.
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, you just have to find your own way as a middle child. It's
yeah,
like you can't really depend on your younger brother or maybe your younger sister because they're young.
Yeah,
you can't really depend on your older sister because you can, but it's like you're in the middle there. It's like either you want to get what you want by yourself or you want to like just do nothing.
Yeah. I find it's really interesting watching the dynamic. So my kids, so the eldest is 6. Harley turns 4 in October, and then Eden will be 2 at the end of the year.
Oh, they're so young.
Yeah, so they're all young, right? But then it's interesting watching the dynamic play out between the 3 of them because Cadence and Harley are both old enough to sort of be able to play similar games, even though it's a 2-year age gap. Like Cadence is probably obviously more aware because she's at school and things like that. But Harley can because they can both speak, they can obviously communicate with each other and try and put things together to play their own games and things like that. And then Eden, she's interesting because of the 3 of my kids, she's the one that speaks. She's speaking the least amount of words at their age. But I feel like in terms of physicality, she is able to do so much more than what they were able to do at their age. Right. So, and whether that's because she watches them and then she picks up on things and then she's, trying to do things that Harley or Cadence do, even though she can't or she's too small or whatever, she'll still try. Like, we're playing a game of horse, but doing like, acrobatic stuff like, roly-polies and stuff on the floor. And she would try, at 1.5, like she tries to copy. And then, because my son and my daughter know, I'm really into martial arts, like sometimes when my son has come to me to like kickboxing or something, like he's come home and he's been like, oh, Daddy, I want to hit the pads. And then I hold a pad there and let him hit it. And then like she Eden, the smallest one, will come up and hit it too.
Oh.
Yeah. Right? Like she's 1.5, but she'll come up and hit the pads. She knows how to kick. Like she'll just throw a little kick, right? So I always find that interesting. And I think, as the middle child, you sort of have the best of both worlds. Sometimes it's like you go to the oldest one. Sometimes you go to the youngest one. But you're in the middle, right? But then at the same time, like everybody talks about middle child syndrome, that you're the forgotten child.
Yeah, it's not a joke. It's actually like they don't forget you, obviously, but you feel like you've been forgotten. So that's why you start having doing stuff like by yourself, finding different ways. Obviously, you have your family around, but just like personal stuff, you just start finding it in different ways, or maybe like finding different ways to move on in life.
Yeah. So, okay. So at what age did you come to, so did you come to Australia first or you went somewhere else before you came to Australia?
I came to Australia first.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess, and even for me, right, like I don't know much about like what life in Kenya would have been like. Like what do you remember about your time in Kenya?
For some people, if I say it, some people would be like, that's bad, that's just sad. But for me, it was actually a good experience. Like, I didn't have the best or the richest stuff. I didn't have a silver spoon, but I have really good memories of being young. Yeah, like I look back and then some stories. Let's say some stories my mom told me. I'm like, oh, that's kind of sad.
Can you give us an example?
Like, for example, let's say we had this house where we were living in, but it was like a really beat down house. Like it was bad. And it was like it had birds in there, like birds were shitting everywhere in the house. Like it was just a shit house. Yeah. But I remember it as me hanging out with because there was like a 2 house. There was good houses. And then at the top, that's when the shit house was. That's where we were living. Yeah. Because all the birds were going there, and then it was
up the top.
Yeah, up the top. So all the birds were just going there, and then it was just like it was not a good house. Yeah. But I remember it being a good experience because I was hanging out with the kids from the lower houses, which are the good house. Yeah. So we were just like playing around every morning. I just go out and then I can't wait to go play. Yeah. So it was just like little stuff like that. Yeah. like I don't remember the bad stuff. I just remember like me being young and me being excited to wake up in the morning to just go play. Yeah. But
I think that you know, in those situations where you know you got more people around you, it's like that community feel. Like even though, so you're in separate houses, but because they're kids at a similar age, it's like how, you know, here in Australia, like I guess for me growing up, I grew up in a cul-de-sac. So it's like, you know, I used to play with the other kids in the cul-de-sac, right? And so in the afternoon, you know, like we'd all be out of the house playing and doing, whether it was riding our bikes or just running around on the street or whatever, playing cricket on the street or something like that. Like it's that kind. I'm guessing it was kind of like that kind of a feel, even though like for you guys, it's like, you know, you're literally like just the next house or in the same house almost.
Yeah.
But you know, they create very happy memories for kids, right? Like all you get to do is have fun and play and
yeah. Like there's some let's say there's some kids that grew up here, and then they tell me their stories of how they had a bad childhood, and then they explain it, and I'm just like, that is a good childhood. What are you talking about? Like, that is not a bad childhood. Like they explain, it's like, oh, we just used to live in the project houses, and I'm like, where? Oh, it's just the shit areas in Campbelltown, and then I'm like, that is a good house. You had lights, right?
Yeah.
You had
running water.
Yeah, running water.
Yeah.
You had floors.
Yeah.
Like good floors.
Yeah.
And then they tell me the stories, and I'm just like, if I had that as a childhood back in Kenya, I would think I'm living like luxury.
Yeah.
But when I explain my childhood to them, and then I'm trying to tell them the good parts about it, they're like, "Oh, that's sad. That's really sad." I'm just like, "No, that's not sad for me. I'm happy that I got that experience,
that grounding."
Yeah, because it's like obviously it's not the best, but I got the best from it. Like, I got the best experience I could as a kid.
Well, I think it, you know, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I think, you know, you find ways to be grateful for what you did have, right?
Yeah.
And I think as a child, like, I don't think most kids don't look at the world with like, you know, with this negative perspective and go, oh, you know, I'm poor or I'm this or I'm that. Like kids are full of hope and optimism, right?
Yeah.
So they look at the world and they go, oh, you know, how fantastic. Today I get to play with my mates. That's what you're focusing on, right?
Yeah.
And you're focusing on, oh, you know, like if, you know, something happens and it's like, oh yeah, now we get to do this, you know, oh cool, I get to do taekwondo, or now I don't get to do taekwondo. Like it's, you don't really look at it and go, oh, you know, I don't have the same opportunities as someone else. Like I don't think that really kicks in until later in life.
Yeah.
When we start to go, oh, why does this person have more than me?
Yeah.
Right.
When
or
you
why
start getting older. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I've noticed that as well.
Yeah.
Like when I start getting older, I'm 22 right now, so I'm still young, but I'm still like, I'm finding myself saying, oh, why am I not driving that nice car?
Yeah.
You know, like why do they have a big house?
Yeah.
But as a kid, I'm just like, my obviously my younger self is still in there.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, but you had less before and you were happy.
Yeah.
I remember that as a kid, and I'm just like, that's every single time I'm always grateful. Like that's one thing about me that I'm proud of, is that I'm always grateful with that whatever I have.
Yeah.
Even if it's not what I want, I'll always be grateful for it, because there's some people who have less than me. Like right now I'm in a good house. Like this is a really good house. So every time I wake up, I'm always like, or before I go to sleep, I'm always like just reflecting of my day. Even if I had a bad day, I always do this ritual where before I go to sleep, I do push-ups.
Yep. How many?
So I started off with 10.
Yeah.
Because I hate push-ups.
Okay.
So I have to do something that I hate.
Okay.
Every single morning or every single night.
Every single night.
So I hate push-ups.
Yep.
So I started off with 10. Right now I'm doing up to 70.
Ooh.
70 push-ups every single night.
Yep.
And then it's gonna sound weird, but I usually stand in, because there's my bed, and then it's not like good looking bedroom, but it's just my bed and my gaming place just there.
Yep.
And then I usually just stand behind my gaming chair.
Yep.
In a straight line, and then I just breathe.
Yep.
And then try to, like, because the whole day your brain has been just racing, doing, oh, I need to go here, I need to go train, I need to go to work.
Yeah.
And then your brain is just so active, but you just breathe and then you like just keep breathing through your nose.
Yep.
And then your brain calms down, and then you start reflecting on your day. You're like, okay, today I didn't have a good day. Today I didn't do this. And then, your brain just calms down and it's like floating with memories that you did during the whole day.
Yep.
And then I just breathe, and then I usually repeat a couple words that I want to keep to myself. I usually repeat a couple words to myself to just remind me what I want to achieve in life.
Yep.
So I repeat those words over and over and over when my brain has calmed down, so that you can just like memorize every single time. So it even happens when I'm having a bad day, those memories or those words that I say to myself every single night, I find myself saying them, even if I don't even like want to say them. I'm always like, even if I'm not saying it like with my mouth, it plays in my head. If I'm having like a really shit day, these words just keep playing in my mind. I'm like, okay, I'll be all right. I'll be all right.
Yeah.
And then I do the breath, and then I say those words, and then I do the push-ups.
Yep.
Cause it's like a weird, I don't know. I set myself up to like, the push-ups are not really to just like gain anything.
Yeah.
It's just to show me that, or a way of me saying that whatever I want, I have to work hard for it. So it's like whatever I want in life, the push-ups is like a sign of hard work.
Yeah.
So I say the words, think of my day, be grateful, say a prayer, and then do the push-ups. So the push-ups is like whatever you prayed for,
you gotta work.
You gotta work for it. You gotta go down, show them you're great.
Yep.
I go down, do the push-ups, and then I go to sleep.
Yeah.
So it's like a weird little thing that I've actually been doing it for like 2 years now.
Wow.
And it's actually, I don't like saying it because it sounds like I'm.
No, I think it's, see, these are the things that a lot of people don't do in their day at all, right?
Yeah.
So majority of, maybe I'm generalizing because I don't really know. It's not like I go and ask every single person, what's your nighttime routine? But I think, for most people at night, it's either they're on their phone, or they, on the computer or whatever. And then it's like, okay, time to go to sleep. And you toss and turn in bed and you try and go to sleep, right? And I think, one of the things that I learnt as I was, growing up, probably not when I was young, but like more when I was in my 20s, and that was that it was really important to actually have some time for reflection, right? So, I used to call it the rule of thirds. If we think about, there's past, present, and future, right? That we spend, a third of our time thinking about the past, and that could be either whether it's happy memories or it's regrets, right? But we spend some time, and it's especially the regrets that eat up a lot of people, right? Yeah. And they spend a lot of time, in that sort of space there. Yeah. And then the other area where a lot of people spend it is in the future. We're anxious about something, we're worried about something, we're thinking about things that we can't actually do anything about today. But just because whether there's a deadline, and in fighting, it's always oh, I've got this fight coming up, and you worry about it. Like that's the part that messes with a lot of people's fighters' minds, right? They're thinking about this next fight or this next comp or this next match or whatever, and that you don't actually spend any time to just decompress and be in the present.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and I think having that kind of grounding and ritual, and it also goes into, I think another thing I talk about, which is the see, do, get paradigm. And what that means is like, when you see something, what you see determines what you do, right? But you got to remember that, just because you and I go, oh, that's a chair, right? For some people with a different filter, right? And a chair, obviously it's fairly straightforward because we all sort of know what a chair is. Yeah. Right. But then when it comes to like a personality, what a person's personality is, how you see one person's personality and how I might see that person's personality might be two totally different things. I might go, oh, that's a great guy. And you might go, man, that guy's arrogant. Yeah. Right. Yeah, and so we see two different things, but then because we see two different things from that same person, what we do, I might treat him, oh yeah, he's my mate, blah, blah, blah. And you might go, no, he's arrogant. I don't want anything to do with him. So you avoid him. And then what we get as a result of it, well, I get to try and build my friendship or work on my friendship or relationship with this guy, but you don't build any relationship with the guy because of how you see him. Yeah. Yeah. So that, having those words that you repeat to yourself, it's creating that foundation in terms of, what is, you know, what is going to be your backstop, you know, when
Yeah.
things get tough,
Yeah.
you know, and you get pushed and you're at your limit, well, what's going to help to bring you back to the surface?
Yeah. Something that you're familiar with.
Yeah.
Something that like reminds you of when you were not like in this situation.
Yeah.
Let's say sometimes when I'm in even the breathing techniques.
Yep.
The breathing techniques are like I was watching this podcast with Joe Rogan and the Gracie, the jiu-jitsu guy, Gracie.
Hickson?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. The
Yep.
guy who does breathing
Yeah.
techniques. Yeah, him. So he was saying how the breathing through your nose and like shutting your mouth and breathing through your, like forcing yourself to breathe
Yep.
through your nose, even if you're doing like a high intensity workout and then you start breathing through your nose and closing your mouth, it helps with like even in everyday life.
Yeah.
Where you just like you start breathing through your nose and then it opens up like your brain. When your brain is racing, it just calms you down to a point where it's like a kind of superpower.
Yeah.
Because most people don't know. I usually if you ask anyone, I always tell them to breathe. Even my girlfriend, I always tell her to breathe through her nose. I was talking to her last night and I was telling her I sound like a crazy person when I'm talking to her. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. You gotta breathe through your nose. It's like a superpower. Like every time I'm mad, I'm always breathing through my nose, and then I come down. Even before my fights, I'm always breathing through my nose, and then I come down. And then I tell everyone that, and they're like, oh, cool, I'll try it.
Yeah.
And
There's actually a book. I think it's called Breathe. I can't remember the author at the moment, but if you look it up, there's a pretty famous book, or it's pretty, you know, widely popular and quite a good selling book. And what this guy actually did, he did an experiment where he forced himself to mouth breathe for 30 days. So he you know, basically put plugs up his nose and taped up his nose and did the experiment in terms of what did that do to his recovery, his HRV, so heart rate variability, his resting heart rates and all these sorts of things. So he measured his sleep. He measured all these, you know, did like I think he did some blood tests as well to try and look at, you know, what sort of stresses were induced in his body. And 30 days of mouth breathing, he actually developed quite a lot of problems, health problems from that, right? And so then, you know, so he goes through all these different modalities and talks about, you know, the importance of breath. And I think he's been on the Joe Rogan podcast as well, and he just talks about doing 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out. So an inhale for 6 seconds.
Yeah,
and then out and out, through the nose as well. So that's what he talks about. But like it's interesting, you know, that he talks about like he did the experiments to go and show, you know, how bad breathing through your mouth was, and you know what were the physical changes that he experienced as a result of it. And he goes through some of the like technical things in terms of, you know, what happened inside his nose and all that sort of stuff. And then, you know, the good news was that like I think it took him maybe like 5 or 10 days after removing everything that he could, you know, breathe through his nose better again. And it was interesting because when I read that book, so you know when you get like a cold or a flu and you get a blocked nose?
Oh, I hate it.
Well,
I throw everything in my nose. I throw all the
sprays?
Yeah.
Well, here's something I want you to try, because this is something that has worked for me, right? Because I used to be the same. I used to always put the sprays up my nose to try and get more comfortable, but then your nose just keeps leaking.
Yeah.
Right?
I hate it.
So basically he was saying that when you have like a congested nose, that your body, if you breathe through your mouth, then your nose will get worse, right?
Yeah.
Because you're basically you're giving your body an easy way to sort of try and get its oxygen, right? And so you think you're going to die, right? Because you try and force yourself to breathe through your nose, but you get to a point you get really uncomfortable, and then suddenly it's like if you keep forcing it, then it just clears.
Really?
Yep.
Just like that.
Just like it happens like within like 5 seconds. It's like whether it's like your body's realizing, hey, if we don't work to unblock this nose now, we're not going to get enough oxygen. And so like the first time I did it, it might have taken me like maybe 2 minutes of struggling, like, like you know, dying, but I refused to breathe through my mouth. And then suddenly it would just be like boom, and then just like cleared up, one nostril cleared up, and then you just keep breathing through your mouth. So now I don't use any of those sprays, anything. Like I just, you know, if I get a cold or whatever and I get the blocked nose, I just lie there in bed and I just go, okay, well, we're going to eat shit until it gets fixed. Right?
I get so comfortable with it. I'm just like, oh, I'm going to go Chemist Warehouse. And they're pretty expensive, the sprays. They're not cheap.
Now you got something to try.
I'll try that.
So like mentally, it's a funny story as well, because it's like you're there going, come on, you bitch ass nose.
Yeah.
You gotta work. You gotta work. You know? And then, but yeah, when it worked, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, I didn't know that your brain and your body could be so powerful to, you know, you got like a, whether it's cold or a flu, like this virus attacking you and it's congested your nose, but you can actually fight through it and win. Like, you know, you don't need to have the chemical intervention. Like, it's just easy, you know, but most people don't go to that point where it's like, you feel like you're, oh shit, you know, we might die here.
Yeah, I get to that point. I'm like, all right, come into my house. It is.
All right. So, what was school like in Kenya?
It was. I had two experiences. I was in a government school and I was in a private school at the end before I came here.
Yep.
That's when we started getting up in life, you know.
Yeah.
That's when I started. As soon as I started hitting private school, I was like, all right, I'm moving up in life.
We made it.
Let's keep it going. And then so I have two experiences. The government school, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't the best. It was just, I think I went to the lowest school that had the lowest score in the district. We used to call them district. So it was like the lowest performing school.
Yep.
In like the district, and just no one really cared about education there. It was just like it's like we're just coming in to just pass time.
Yeah.
But it was really good. I don't really have, the weird thing is that I don't have memories of like me hanging out with friends.
Okay.
Like I don't have, that's weird because I don't have a memory of like a best friend that I had in school when I was in private school. I just have memories of like girls that I liked.
Okay.
That's the only memory I have. I have just memories of girls that I liked.
Okay.
And it's just like, it's just two girls actually.
Yeah.
And then they were twins or something like that. It's
Whoa.
weird.
Double it up already.
Hey, it is what it is. But I have really good memories of my private school.
Yeah.
Because it was called, I think they're still running. It's called Waithaka Riverside. Waithaka Riverside. Yeah, it was because it was close to a river.
Yep.
And then they just named it Waithaka Riverside. So I have really good memories there of me hanging out with them because I think I was like a popular kid.
Okay.
Coming up in the private school.
Yep.
I was like well known, you know. It's like one of those.
And what do you think that was? Like, I guess, you know, and obviously it's a personality thing, right?
Yeah.
But like, how would you describe your personality in school, like at that age?
Like I was just fun to talk to, I reckon. Like I was, if I met me and I started talking to me, I would be friends with me. You know what I'm saying? I would be like, I want to be friends with that guy.
Okay.
Like it was, like I reckon I was just fun to talk to and fun to hang out. And I wasn't like judgy.
Yep.
Like if everybody had different personalities and I was cool with everyone.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have anyone that I was just like, yo, I hate you.
Yeah.
I had good interaction with everyone. That's why everyone was comfortable with me.
And so what? No, there was no one else that was sort of like jealous of you?
No, I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
They never came to anything.
Nah, never. Because I didn't think like that. I didn't think like I have something.
Yeah.
I didn't think I have something for someone to be jealous of. I was like, I'm just living life. I'm just doing me. Like,
yep.
Like I had friends in different classes, and even my class was like, why are you hanging out with the lower grade kids? And I'm just like, I don't know. They're just cool. We're just cool to hang out. Like, we're just chilling. Yeah. So it was just not like, I wasn't like high up on my horse. I'm like, I'm the coolest kid in school. I was just like, nah, I'm just chilling. Like, I'm just having fun, talking to everyone, not judging anyone, just being a normal kid. Yeah. And yeah, that's what, it wasn't like a bad experience. It was a really good experience actually, because that's most memories I got from that school. I was even promoted to, we had head boys and head girls. Okay. So I was one of the head boys. Yep. So the head boys is like you get like a tag. Yep. You wear it. It says head boy. Yeah, okay. And then you walk around the school, and then so you just like a second hand to the teachers. So you're there to every day stuff, you know, like if the teachers can do some stuff, they send you.
Okay. Yeah, so I think we call them prefects here.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like
a prefect,
Yeah, I was a head boy.
Yep.
And I only got it because I used to do drama.
Okay.
I used to be really good at drama to a point where I made it to, it's like a state level competition to do drama.
Okay.
And then their reasoning was like, we'll give him the head boy, and then when he goes to perform, it's going to look good on the school because our head boy is performing at the state level.
Okay.
So they gave me that badge. I didn't deserve it. I misused it so much. I'm not gonna tell. I used it to my advantage. I was just like,
come on, what did you do? You got to tell me one story of what you did that wasn't right thing to do with that badge.
Okay, so because it's a private school, so we had this thing that we speak English from Monday to Thursday.
Okay.
And then Friday, it was supposed to be a gaming play. Like we used to go to another field and then we play soccer and then we just play games.
Okay.
So the whole school from Monday to Thursday, you're supposed to speak English only.
Yep.
Don't speak the national language, which is Swahili.
Mm-hmm.
You're not allowed to speak it.
You're not allowed to speak it at school.
Even any other language, because it's like 50-something languages in Kenya. So
okay.
you're not allowed to speak any other language except English, so that because you want to look like it's a private school, we're all speaking English. So if you're found, so in every class, if you're found speaking another language besides English, you wear this thing around your neck. It's like a wooden thing that's, it's so embarrassing. It's the ugliest thing. It's like a wood, and then you wear it
to shame you.
To shame you. You walk around the school with it. And then because I was the head boy, I was speaking another language. And no one could tell me shit. I was just like, hey, it is what it is.
So language wise, so can you speak Swahili?
Yeah, fluent.
Fluent?
Speak it.
And then do you have a dialect as well for the area that you were from, or is it just Swahili for you?
So the national language is Swahili.
Yep.
My mother tongue is Kikuyu. I can't really speak it, but I can understand it.
Okay.
Like I know some words. I can speak some words, but I can't really like form a full sentence. But I can, if someone is talking to me in the mother tongue, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to respond.
Yeah.
In like a whole sentence.
Yeah. Is there a lot of similarities between the mother tongues and or the dialects in Swahili, or is it like completely different?
It's different. Different, yeah. But there's some words that, like, if you can say it in the mother tongue, you can just slide some Swahili in there, and then it still sounds all right.
Yep.
But but I don't really know much about the mother tongue. I only speak it, because my mom is fluent in it. She goes around in the phone, and then she's just chatting in the mother tongue, and I'm always like, I get some words from her, and I'm just like, oh. Like I can, like sometimes she might be, because I don't think she knows that I can understand the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like I know some words.
Yeah.
So she might be talking about me on the phone, and I'm just like looking at her, and then she's like, what? And I'm like, I know you're talking about me, because I can understand what the language, but I can't really speak it.
Yeah.
So that's, but I'm fluent in Swahili.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was the same thing in my household. So, I grew up, speaking Chinese as well. And then, so my parents, when they would want to talk about the kids, then they'd have to change to another dialect. So really? They would change to Hokkien, which is another Chinese dialect, I guess. And to try and avoid, me listening to what they're saying.
Do you understand it?
Nah, not enough. Like it's pretty different. Like it's, there's some similarities, but there's a lot of differences as well. So, I can understand some of the basic stuff, but then when they would go into those kind of conversations, it's like, I don't want to know anyway. Just switch off and move on. So, from I guess in terms of school, like what I'm curious about is like how many kids per teacher, like how many kids in a classroom?
Maybe like, it was different from every class.
Oh, okay.
Maybe like 20.
20? Okay, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, 20.
Yeah, I think classrooms in here are worse. Like you got like 30 kids to one teacher.
But because it was different because it's a private school.
Okay.
The government school, we're talking 30s.
Yeah, okay.
35, 40s.
Yeah, a lot of kids, yeah.
Yeah. But because not a lot of people can afford the private schools, it's obviously going to be less students in a class.
Yeah. So, okay, I need to ask about the drama competition, right? So, what do you do in a drama competition? Like, what do they make you do?
So you prepare for months, hard work. They give you a script. So I had a drama teacher who. So the first time I met him, he was looking for students to perform in like the drama show.
Yep.
And then we were doing auditioning, and then we were supposed to read a line, and then we all go. Every single person reads the line, and then he writes it down, and then he tells you, "Oh, you just step over there, and then you step over here." And then when it came to my turn, I had to make sure that I'm gonna get that role. Okay. I didn't know what role I'm gonna get, but I wanted to be in whatever thing they were doing.
Okay.
So when it came to my turn to read the line, that's when my deep voice was starting to kick in. That's when I was starting to get my deep voice. So when it came to my line, I read that line with the deepest voice I can find and the loudest I can do. And then everybody in the class was like, "Oh, okay, here comes the try-hard."
Yeah.
And then, and then I was just like, and then he was like, "Oh, good. You just step on the side. I'll talk to you later."
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Do you want to do the main role?" Yeah. And I was like, yeah, let's do the main role. Yeah, I wasn't even trying, but yeah, let's do the main role. And then I got the main role. And then, so it was just like, so every single time was different plays. So we started off with performing for the school. And then he was like, "Okay, I'm going to enter you in the competition." And then obviously so it was like a whole play, these actors and everything, like from the school, obviously.
Yep.
There's background actors. And then they open up the scene for me. And then I remember this scene was, I wish I remember the whole play, but it was like a knockoff version of Lion King.
Okay.
But it was like a African version.
Okay.
Where we had this African, I think it was like a skin, cow skin or something. And then you wear it. And then I'm a warrior. And I'm telling you a story about how a prince was born, and then I opened the scene up, and then I walk in. So it was like a whole setup. I was sitting on the audience, and then I stood up, and then that's when I said my lines, and everybody's like, "Oh, where did he come from?" And then I'm just like walking in, and I'm just like, so I only remember a few lines, but it was just like, long time ago, up the mountains, down the valleys, and across the rivers or something like that. It was just. It was kind of fun. It was really fun. Like I got second on the state, and then they only take first place, and then I still got a medal. So
that's good.
I made it. So,
took something home.
Yeah,
that's what you wanted, right?
Yeah. I was meant to I'm still thinking about it, but doing acting. In like later on in life, that was just like one of my goals, to do acting or voice acting. I would love voice acting. Yeah. So anybody out there doing voice acting,
hit Percy up.
Call Perci No Mercy. Come through.
Yeah. Nah, that's good. I think, see, this is the thing. Like, I think a lot of times, everybody has all these different interests, right? But then we always pigeonhole people and go, "Oh, what do you do for work?" Right? And we all we think about is just, well, what do they do for work? And so that must be what you're into. But, people have all these different interests, like whether it's, some people have like photography interests or cooking and all these other side interests. And the thing is, like, it's almost like, we don't really encourage people to pursue them really anymore.
Yeah.
You get to this point, so when you're a kid, it's like, your parents are pushing you, they go, "Oh, go do this, go do that," or you want to go and do all these different things, and your parents are driving you to all these different places, right? To whether it's to play sport or all these different things. And then you get older, it's like, "Oh yeah, nah, this is my lane now," and I just stay in my lane.
Stick to it,
yeah, it's boring.
Yeah,
it's boring. Like, that's not, and I don't think that's reflective of what people actually are. We have all these other interests, and just because you have other interests doesn't mean that takes away from your primary objective or the current, primary objective or goal.
You can still do both.
Yeah. Right. So I think it's only, at the very, like, when you're at the very tip of the spear, like if you're fighting for world titles and things like that, well then, hey, you probably need to put all that other stuff to the back burner, unless you want to actually transition and you're at the end of your career and you want to move into those other things. Well, now it's time to actually start putting some energy into those things to set you up for when you're no longer in the lights and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think, having that background in acting and drama is great to be able to handle pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When the lights are on.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I like to show off.
Yeah.
When the lights are on, it's just like that. I still have
fuels
that.
you.
Yeah. Like I did drama in high school, and that was the only class where I was just like so excited to just start the class.
Yeah.
The other class I was just dragging along, and I was just like, oh, I'm doing maths now, doing history, and then when it came to drama, I was like, yo,
yeah,
I'm doing drama.
Yeah. It's on.
Yeah. You just forget about whatever you were thinking about the whole day. And then you're working on a monologue, and then it's just like when it's time to perform, like something takes over you. When I did my HSC, I did a monologue.
Yep.
It was called Cold-Blooded Murder or something like that. Okay. So the monologue was called like that. It's kind of weird. Man.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a girl's monologue.
Pretty heavy.
Yeah. It was supposed to be a girl's monologue where they investigate this girl who killed some people. So it's like an investigation room.
Yep.
So, but I took it and then I changed it around to a guy in a prison, and then I had like a prison outfit, and then they were investigating me. So the police were just the audience.
Yep.
And then, yeah, I took that role seriously. Like and that's when I had dreads back then. So that's when my hair was still growing out. So I looked scary at this time because my hair was just up. And then I'm here with so I learned one thing where if you want to be good at monologues, just concentrate on one person. And then it's like you're talking to them, but don't look at anybody else. Just look at that one person.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, the little girl who was in front of me, she was chosen by, I don't know who chose her, but I looked at her the whole time.
Yep.
And she was terrified the whole time. And I was just like, hey.
Yeah.
But it was a really good experience. That's why I like drama, because it's just like you get to have different characters.
Yeah.
And you get to play along with. It's not for everyone.
No.
It's not. The lights are not for everyone, because some people shy out.
Yep.
But I like it. It just gives me this ego where I'm just like, I can do anything here. I can be any character I want.
Anything you want.
Yeah. Like, literally.
Well, that's it's funny because a lot of people are like, oh, no, that's not me. I can't handle being in front of people or public speaking and things like that. And I think for me, like the way that I sort of looked at it, I'm very similar to you. I like the excitement, right? And I would say to people, what's the difference between anxiety or nerves and being excited? Like what's the difference? It's the same thing.
Yeah,
right. You get these butterflies in your stomach.
Yeah.
Right, and you feel like that sort of feeling.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like that's energy.
Yeah.
You convert that into energy to go and perform and things like that. So, for me, like, I wasn't really, I did, like, obviously we had drama as a class in high school and primary school and things like that, but I didn't really ever pursue it with the same sort of vigor that you did. But one of the things that I was really into, when I was, so I used to do a lot of Chinese Kung Fu. And so part of that is, we do a lot of performances as well. So whether it's lion dancing, so with the, the big lion heads and things like that. So I used to do that. And then, we'd perform like martial arts, the forms and things like that in public and do comps and things like that. And, so in the past we used to do like this one massive performance for Chinese New Year at one of the temples in Bonnyrigg in the southwest of Sydney. And, there'd probably be maybe 800,000 people there. Right. And, we'd schedule out, a whole bunch of different performances and throughout the night so that people have entertainment as well as celebrate Chinese New Year and things like that. And, we'd always try and get the younger students to perform as well. And sometimes, like they'd be like, oh, I'm nervous. And it's like, it's the same feeling, whether you're nervous or whether you're excited, it's the same energy.
Yeah.
Right. It's just now you're just picking the path that you want it to flow into.
Yeah.
You're either going to channel that nervous energy into, oh, I'm going to make a mistake, and you get scared, or you channel into, I'm excited and I'm going to like destroy this show. I'm going to make it, make a really big impact.
Yeah.
And so, like then I think, being able to take that, that's actually a benefit to you, you know, in fighting as well, because now you can take that energy and convert that into elevating your performance even higher, you know. So the higher the stakes, the better you perform as well.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just some people are scared because it's the same thing as you're saying, but some people, because you're just scared of the outcome.
Yeah, but
Right.
the outcome's the outcome.
Yeah, it's like that's why I had to like be comfortable with.
Yeah.
Like just be comfortable with the outcome. It's like knowing that one thing that, let's say, going in a fight.
Yeah.
One thing that makes you calm down and being comfortable with the outcome is knowing that you've put in the work.
Yeah.
If you know you haven't put in the work,
Yeah.
then okay, yeah, you just
Yeah.
you're going in there with a blindfold on your arm.
Yeah. You're either deluded because you're so excited to get your ass kicked.
Yeah, it's like, but if you know you've put in the work and you know you've made the sacrifices, you'll go in there with don't even worrying about the outcome. You're just there knowing that you're gonna perform.
Yeah. And
that's one thing that I'm slowly getting comfortable with.
Yeah.
Because I'm still new in the sport. Like I'm fresh. Like I don't even know. I just know the basics.
Yeah.
That's how I see myself. I don't know anything about the sport at the moment.
Yeah.
I know the basics, and that's what's taking me along.
Yeah.
And just knowing the basics at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We'll talk a bit more about martial arts in a bit. I want to sort of go through the rest of your journey. So at what age did you come to Australia?
12 or 13.
Okay.
12 or 13.
And so, like, I guess, what was that conversation like? So, did your parents just say one day, "Oh, we're going to Australia"?
No, my mom worked here for a couple years, and then she brought us along.
Oh wow! So she actually came here first.
Yeah.
And so for that period of time, you didn't have your mum at home.
I just had my auntie.
Just your auntie.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what about your dad?
Oh, he passed away when I was younger.
Oh wow. Okay. Sorry, I didn't. Mean
oh no, it's alright.
so how old were you when that happened?
I don't really remember.
Yeah.
Because it's always like when somebody asks something like that, I'm always like, or when they say, "Oh, sorry," I'm just like, "Oh, not really."
Yeah.
Like it's like I don't really remember, so I have no emotional attachment to it. So, but I don't remember how old I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever look back at pictures of him? Like, did you ever go through a phase where you sort of look back at some of those pictures of him to try and see if there's any connection there or anything like that?
No.
No. Yeah.
I have a really bad memory, so it's like
well, getting punched in the head isn't actually good for that.
My memory, but it's like I don't have a bad memory. It's just I choose to forget.
Yeah.
Like if something is taking so much energy away from my brain or my everyday thing, I'm really good at choosing to forget it.
Yeah.
And I actually forget it. If you ask me about it, I'm just like, what? I did that? I don't remember it. Because I choose to forget it. I don't know how I do it, but I completely forget it. But it's still there.
Yeah.
And you have to like give me details of what happened.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh, okay, I remember it. But it's just things like that. I just choose to forget it because it's like, it's obviously it's in my life right now.
Yeah. It's
my life, but it's like, is it going to help me with anything? No. Then, all right.
Yeah.
Delete. And then it's just like, gone.
Sometimes it's timing. Right, and the reason why I say that is because, like for me, I went, I think up until I was like 35 years of my life, not really caring much in terms of, like, I didn't know much about my ancestry or anything like that, and it didn't really bother me. Like, you know, I never met either of my grandfathers. They both passed away before I was born. Met my grandmother on my mum's side maybe once or twice, and my grandmother on my dad's side, you know, a couple of times more than that. But there wasn't really the same kind of, you know, there wasn't really any emotional connection because I didn't really, same thing, right? Like it's not really important. The only time it became important to me was when I had kids. And then I realized that, you know, like, because when I was watching them, I would see certain things that my kids would do and go, where did they get that from? Like, I didn't teach them how to do that, or like that's, you know, there's something in that in their personality, right? And so for me, then that's when I started to go, okay, I actually want to find out some of these things because it might help me to understand myself better, right? So you know, I think it's one of those things that, you know, it's a timing thing, like, but, you know, at this stage in your life, yeah, it's probably not that important. It doesn't take away from anything that you're doing.
Yeah,
but,
maybe
you
it
know,
might come back later on.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You never know. Who
Yeah.
knows?
yeah. But those sorts of things, you know, when you they can become strengths as well, because, you know, like you can draw from those things to actually, you know, give you more energy or motivation to do certain things as well. You know, and I'm sure, like, you know, not so technically you're the eldest boy in your family, right?
Yeah.
So I know that would have been energy for you as well, right? So as you're growing up, you know, you still got this feeling that, hey, you know, I still got to look after mum. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Like I always have that that like something that drives me to just have better.
yeah,
Because I know where I came from.
Yep.
And I don't want to go back there. So it's just always like something that pushes me, wakes me up every morning to go, let's say, go for a run or something. It's just something that gives me that push. Is being the oldest male in the house.
yeah,
And then having that, I don't want to disappoint myself and I don't want to disappoint my family. So
Yeah.
it's just like I have to do what I have to do to get what I have to get.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So then, yeah. So your mum was already here,
Yeah.
and then so it would have been your auntie or something that would have told you then, hey, you're gonna go to Australia.
No, we were talking to my mom like pretty much every week.
Yep.
She was calling us and telling us, yeah, you are gonna come, are gonna be here pretty soon.
Yep.
Yeah, she was there. She was calling us day and day, pretty much every day.
Wow.
Just checking up on us.
Yep.
Telling us, yeah, I'll send the tickets soon. I just gotta gather them because it's pretty hard to get in here.
Yeah.
Like most people who were born here don't really know how hard it is to get in here, but it's a pain to be in here because it's such a good country. It's not the best, but compared to other countries, this is heaven. It's paradise.
Yeah.
So it's pretty hard to get in here, and it's easy to get out, but it's hard to go back in. Yeah.
So then, how did your mum? Do you know how your mum came here in the first place? Was she on a working visa, or like did she get a refugee visa, or like what kind of a visa was it?
I don't even know.
Okay.
I don't even know. I think it was a working visa or something because she's a nurse.
There's a nurse.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And so then, so when you got the tickets, like, I guess, you know, did you have any feelings like, oh shit, I don't want to go, like, because your life's in Kenya, or?
I was hyped up. I didn't even know. I was ready to go. I was as soon as they said go, I was like, all right, I'm packing my bags. I'm out. It was just like I remember in the house that I was living at. This was like, this was a good house back then for me.
Yep.
So it was a double-decker bed. I was in the top bed, and then I had this massive window where I was just sitting down, and then it was just like the city you could see the lights and the buildings.
Yep.
But it was just like the area was still getting built. So it was still fresh, like the buildings were still new.
Yep.
So I was sitting down, and then I was looking down at the lights, and I'm just like, one day I'm going to be with mom in Australia. And I was praying, and I'm just like, oh, I can't wait for that day to come in. So this was like years before I came.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh, I can't wait. It's going to be really good. So I used to pray every single night. And then when the day came, when she told us the date that we were supposed to come, I was hyped. I was really happy to even, like, thinking back to, that's when, like, even now when that's why I'm grateful right now, because I remember those moments of my younger self sitting down on the window and being like, one day I'll be sitting in my own bed in Australia, just like living a different life. Like I was grateful for where I was back then, because we were moving up in life.
Yep.
So I was grateful for what I had, but looking back, that's what just makes me more grateful.
Yep.
And I pray for stuff, and then you just manifest stuff, and then it's just like, being as a younger kid, I don't like I didn't know what I was just praying. Like I was just like, I was saying random stuff on the prayers, and I'm just like, all right, I hope I get to Australia. That's all I pray for, dear God. And then you just manifest stuff like that. And then good thing about me is just I have good, how do you say it? I have good, like you manifest stuff, you see stuff, and then
the seed you get.
Yeah, like yeah. I play pictures in my mind.
Yeah, visualization.
Yeah, visual. Like, I'm a good visual person.
Yeah.
So this was when I was younger. I was visualizing myself being in Australia, being with my mom, and then when he finally came, I was just like, it was such a good feeling.
Pack the bags.
Yeah, I was just ready to go. I remember I before we came, my sister brought her friends, and I brought my friends, and then I brought my best friend and my crush back then when I was in primary school. And then it was kind of funny because it was like a little party, and then so my sister had the bigger room and I had the little room with my friends. And then that's when I was just like, I looked at my crush and I was just like, I love you. And then she even said she had the same feelings. I was like, oh, really? This whole time you didn't even tell me that you had feelings? And I was just like, oh, but I'm leaving. Oh, I'm going to Australia. So, yeah, you lost your chance. But yeah, it was just like a good feeling to know that I'm coming.
Yeah.
And I'm coming to a better life. And, yeah, that's what just keeps me motivated right now. It's just knowing where I came from.
Yeah. So would that have been the first time that you were on a plane?
Yeah.
Yeah? How'd you find that experience? Do you remember how you were feeling?
It was pretty good. Like, I just watched movies.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then they gave us olives.
Olives?
It was like snacks.
Okay.
And then, because it was we're flying out by ourselves because we were younger kids.
Yep.
So they obviously have to take, they have like forums where they know that there's kids by themselves.
Yep.
Yeah. So they give you little snacks here and there. And then they gave us olives, and that's when I hated olives. So that's when I've never had olives. These? Yeah, I'm like, I've never had olives.
They're so salty.
And I'm like, this is horrible. And then I came here and I'm just like, there's different olives. I had the brown ones.
Yep.
And then I found out there's green ones. I like the green ones. Yeah. The green ones are all right.
The green ones that are stuffed.
Yeah. The other ones, I was like, this is terrible. Salty. I was like, nah, this is not it.
Yeah.
But it was a good experience. Like, it was pretty nice. Just watched movies the whole time. My brother did not sleep.
He's too excited? Or?
Yeah, he just watched movies as well.
Yeah.
His eye, when he came out of the plane, his eyes were so red because he didn't have any sleep.
Yeah.
And then we came here and then it was just like, I didn't know what jet lag was. But we went to sleep and I thought it was the next day. And it was only like a couple hours.
Yeah.
Slept for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's still daytime?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, yeah, you just slept for like 4 hours. And I'm like, what? I thought it was the next day. I was so confused.
Yeah.
It was a really good experience. But it was going in the house and seeing my mom.
Yeah.
And she was just so happy as well.
Yeah, of course.
It's just like you could see it, the excitement that she had. Like, she obviously had
this
to go
has been years in the working, right? Like, she's been working here, lonely.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, by herself.
Yep.
In a house by herself. Obviously getting the papers to get us there. Obviously that has to be a hustle.
Yeah.
And you could just see the excitement on her face.
Yeah.
And that's why I like every single thing I do, I just don't want to disappoint her.
Yep.
To a point where, because she had to go through a lot to get us there.
Yeah.
And you could see her face where she was really excited.
Yeah. And
I remember that face, and every single thing I do now, I'm just like, I just don't want to disappoint that face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I love that. Like, and I really, you know, I resonate with that because, you know, we all, I don't think for those of us who are lucky enough to have good mums and good parents, you know, they sacrifice so much so that we can have a better life.
Yeah.
Right. And I often talk about this because, like, you know, for my parents, when they came to Australia with nothing as well. Funnily enough, for whatever reason, they couldn't get a visa in New Zealand. So that's why they had to come to Australia. They were studying in New Zealand, couldn't get the visa there. So they came to Sydney, and, you know, they just worked and worked and worked. And both my parents owned their own businesses. And so for me, you know, life was pretty rough growing up because we would eat really late, you know, because they'd be in the office.
working.
until late. Yeah, like because they're in businesses, so the concept of time was out the window. It's not like 9 to 5, 5 o'clock we go home. It was like sometimes we wouldn't go home until like 7, 8 at night.
Were you working with them?
No. So like when I was at school,
Oh.
so it was really weird. I guess my parents. So we were living in the western suburbs. So we were living in a suburb called St Clair, which is like St Mary's, Penrith Way.
Yeah.
Right, and my parents' office was in Blacktown. And so that's already like, a 40-minute, 1 hour commute. Mm. And then when I went to school, they had bought a block of land in the Hills District, so Balcombe Hills. And so then the plan was we would move into that house when it finished building. And so they sent me to a school that was in the hills. So every day for me to get to school, it was literally, I sit in the car for almost like 1.5 hours, right, to get to school. And then in the afternoon, my mum would pick me up. We'd go back to the office. We'd be at the office till 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. Then we'd go home, and then we'd have dinner. 9 o'clock, 9:30. So that to me was normal, right? And so it was quite interesting when my wife and I got married, and here we are, eating dinner at like 6 o'clock. It's like, this is so early, right? Like, I think she slowly chipped away at me, right? I think maybe it started off like when it was just us two, it was like at 7. And then the kids came along, and then it became like, 6:36, 5:30. Now it's like we're eating at 5:30 because the kids eat at 5:30. It's like, it just cuts.
That's afternoon tea.
That's, yeah, all right? Like, so, yeah, I think we always take for granted how fortunate we are. That we've had somebody before us to put in all these sacrifices to help us, get our start here. When it came to you adjusting to life in Australia, like, did you have any issue? Like, I get not issues, but like, are there any interesting stories about, things that, maybe you didn't understand completely, or like, what was it like adjusting to school and all that sort of stuff?
I thought it was the same as, because I used to watch American movies.
Yeah.
I thought it was the same as American schools where you show up with whatever you want to wear.
Yeah.
And then before I left my previous school in Kenya,
yeah,
they were strict in the uniform.
Yep.
Like to a point where it's like ridiculous. So I'm like, why do we have to wear socks at this length? Like it was to that point where it's just weird.
Yep.
And then I was like, okay, I'm coming to Australia soon, so it's not going to be like
the same.
Yeah, I'm going to be wearing, I was telling my friends, I'm like, I'm going to be wearing fancy clothes, whatever I want. And then I came here and they were more strict with the uniform as well. And I was just like, what's going on? I thought Americans are the same as Australians, but it was different. It was just like, I wasn't really, at first, it was only one black guy in my year. Shout out Gaffer. His name was Gaffer.
Gaffer?
Yeah. He was only one black guy in my year, and I became the second black guy in the year. And it was just like I think there was just two, me and him, like being the black guys. And then there was one who was just older, and he was like in the almost finishing school, like when we were coming in. But yeah, I wasn't really trying. At first, I was really shy because I was scared of my English.
Yep.
Of how I'm going to sound. Am I going to sound silly?
Just the head prefect over there refusing to speak English, speaking Swahili and not having to wear your wooden block.
That's what I was like, maybe I should have spoken some English. But yeah, it was just like, I was shy at first, but I slowly started opening up because, as I said before, when I was I'm easy to get along.
Yeah.
Like, I don't judge you with whatever you want to do because it's like, I don't have that judgy personality. I'm always like, oh, cool, you do this? Oh, cool. Tell me more about it.
Yep.
Like, I'm always like, I want to know more about people. It was just like, that helped me a lot in high school where I started getting along with everyone. And it was like, oh, this is Percy. And then, so it's just start linking up with people. And then one thing about me is just like, as I said before, I'm terrible with memory and I'm worse with names. So the whole time I can name a handful of people since I started high school till I finished. It was just a couple names that just kept coming over and over and over. But most people would be like, oh, this is Percy. And then I'm like, it's like, hey, Percy. Every single time I meet them, they're like, hey, Percy. I'm like, like, I don't want to say what's your name again, but I'm just like, I don't know your name.
Yep.
Like, I know your face, but I don't know your name. But so it was just like, the high school was just pretty much that, of people knowing me, because it was just like two black guys in the whole school.
So you stand out.
So it's like, obviously everyone is going to know you, and it's like a easy name to say, Percy.
Yeah.
So it's just like everyone, I slowly started getting comfortable, slowly working on my English. And my English wasn't even that bad. It was just like little stuff that I had that accent coming from Kenya.
Yep.
And it just helped me, because I used to watch a lot of American movies.
Yep.
So it was just like the English slowly started kicking in. I was like, oh, this is how you would say some words in like American accent or something like that.
Yep.
So it wasn't bad. It wasn't like, I don't have like a bad story of me like getting bullied or something. It's like, nah, it's pretty chill.
That's good.
Like, yeah, it was nice. I've made a lot of friends.
Yep.
And yeah, it was good experience.
Yep.
Really good experience in high school.
So then when you're at high school, you know, did you have any idea what you wanted to do when you finished high school?
Acting.
Acting.
Yeah.
So you did. Oh yeah. So you obviously did. Yeah, you did drama. You did your monologue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I also did film. I did film in high school, and then there was one time where, so this is how the music thing started.
Okay.
So when I used to do film, but we didn't have enough money to buy the license, copyright music.
Okay.
So me and my friend, he just started hitting some keyboard beats, and then he was like, "Oh, Percy, rap over it," and I'm just like, "Oh no, I don't want to do it." And then I did like there was this song by Migos, Raindrop, Drop Top or something like that. I started doing that, and then I mixed it with Jaden Smith's like rap. So I mashed two songs together.
Yeah.
And then I went along with his beat, and it was actually a really catchy song. It was pretty good.
Okay.
So I remember that, and then that's when I was like, oh, maybe I can do music.
Yeah.
Maybe I can
become a rapper.
Yeah, I was just like, if I don't make it in the acting, I can do some music. I can do some. And then I actually took it seriously, because when I start something, I take it really seriously to a point where it's just like, it's make it or die trying to make it.
Yeah.
So I took the music thing, and I was just like, made a couple songs. They're actually on Spotify if you want to go check it out. It's
what do we look up?
Percy, but the S is a $.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I risk it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna post it.
So Percy, but the S is a $, and then it's on Spotify if you want to go check it out.
Yeah.
But they're actually like good songs. Like I was actually really good at it, but I just found like when I finished high school, I started going in like knowing more about the industry of music, and then I started getting invited to like performances, because like as I said before, I'm good with people. Like I get along with people, so they just started inviting me to
perform.
Like perform here and there, like little festivals here, like little clubs. And then I just saw the industry of the music. It was so fake. Everyone was so fake.
Yep.
It's like, and like one thing about me is that I'm myself. Like I don't know how to be fake.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I can try to be fake, but I'm always ending up to being
who you
same
are.
old me. Yeah. So it was just like a lot of people were fake in that industry, and it was just like, it rubbed me the wrong way. And I was just like,
I don't want to do this.
Yeah, this is, if you want to make it, you have to like
conform.
Yeah, you have to like fake around with people so that they can put you on like their radio or something. You have to be friends with this guy and this guy. You have to fake getting some studio sessions.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is not fun, like at all.
Yeah.
But I liked the process of making music.
Yep.
Of writing. I hated the process of trying to like record and like mixing.
The production, yeah.
Yeah. That's why when I finished high school, I made a mistake. I went to JMC. I didn't finish the course.
Oh, okay.
I stopped like halfway through.
Yep.
Because I was just like, this is boring.
You didn't like it at all?
Yeah, it was just, they were talking about some stuff where I'm just like, like it. They literally show YouTube videos,
Oh, really?
and I'm like,
Might as well just watch it on
yeah,
YouTube.
I'm like, I can go home and
Yep.
on my bed and still make some nice music.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just stopped doing the whole music thing because everyone was just fake. The industry was just weird. Everybody is just
Yeah.
trying to get something from you.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's so in not the last episode, but the one maybe a couple of episodes ago, number 60 with Bass and Nick. So they're basically Christian guys.
oh yeah,
They do
I saw
Christian
the
music,
video.
right? And the music's actually really good. Like, you know, I played a couple of their tracks at the end of that episode. And so, you know, what I went on a bit of a deep dive after into Christian music, like Christian hip hop, because I was like, oh, like this music's actually good. Like, you know, and so then I was like, I went to Spotify and I go Christian hip hop. And my missus was like, she came home one day and then like Christian hip hop's playing on my phone on loudspeaker. And she's like, did these guys convert you to Christianity? Like, she's like, well, you know, what are you listening to Christian hip hop for? And I'm like, I'm just trying to see what is actually good and what's not.
Yeah.
And then I was listening to stuff on, and no offense to, you know, if anybody's stuff is on the Christian hip hop playlist on Spotify, but I was listening to it and I'm like, oh, this is rubbish. Like, like the music wasn't good. Like it just didn't appeal to my taste, I guess.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, you know, so I was telling her, I was like, you know, listen to this and then compare it to these guys. Like these guys are actually really, really good. I guess the difference for them though is that they don't want to. So they haven't released a lot of their stuff. They've got 120 recorded songs. They haven't released anything.
They don't have any songs out?
Haven't put anything on any platforms. And so part of the reason for that is because, you know, for them, their faith is really important and they want to make sure, like, you know, and they talked about the industry being like that as well, yes, right? Yeah, so for them, you know, it's really important for them that they want to make sure that in their hearts, they're doing it for the right reasons, you know, and they're not doing to be rich and famous and all this sort of stuff. They're doing it because it's a celebration of their faith and their love of God and to try and evangelize to people to think about, you know, some of these things. And like Bass actually said it really well. It's like, you know, if you listen to a lot of modern hip hop, you know, it's whether it's, you know, somebody talking about drinking and drugs or sex and all these sorts of things, right? And part of the reason why he started writing his own music is because he wanted to listen to good hip hop without having to be, you know, hearing about, you know, killing people or all these like really heavy negative topics. So that's why he writes hip hop music about God, so he can listen to hip hop, but then it could be, you know, help him to celebrate his faith as well. And I thought, you know, that's actually it's an interesting thing to think about, right? And so, you know, one of the things, like, so my mum, my wife is very Catholic, so, you know, in our car, like, we don't really listen to mainstream radio stations. It's either, you know, Inspire Digital, which is like the Hope 103.2, so it's like Christian music, or it's podcasts. If I'm in the car by myself, I just always listen to podcasts. So, but yeah, like that industry thing, I think, you know, you'll find that in a lot of those mainstream industries, and I think, you know, like acting's, you know, the same.
Yeah, yeah, still, yeah, it's like they just use you to get somewhere.
Yeah,
and it wasn't me. Like I remember one time I was in they had like a little club, and then they were performing, and then I just felt off.
Yeah,
I just felt out of place.
Yeah,
and then I was just like, I walked out halfway, and I was just like, I'm just gonna go catch a train and go home.
Yeah, wow.
Because it was just like I was just
that uncomfortable.
Yeah, I was that uncomfortable that I just walked out and just ran to the train station.
Yeah.
A good thing it was close. It wasn't like far. It was
a cardio.
I wasn't doing fighting back then. So I was I was out of place, and I was just like, nah. Like, people were just like, the environment around it was just weird. Like I don't drink a lot.
Yeah.
But I drink.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like people were using alcohol and like to not even to just like, they're drinking because they don't want to be themselves.
Yeah.
So they use alcohol to cover up.
To avoid it. Yeah.
Yeah, to cover up themselves, and then so they can just be fake the whole time.
Yeah.
And it was just like, nah, this is not it.
Yeah.
But I like the process of making music, because it's the best feeling when you make a song from scratch, or when you make a beat from scratch, and then you just like, maybe I should have just like stuck with the music.
No, look, it's one of those things. You got to find these things, and you got to do it your way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm very much like that with the podcast and my martial arts fight studies. Like, you know, sometimes you put all this pressure on it, and then it's not enjoyable anymore.
Yeah, that's
right?
where I was. Yeah.
So you know, when you take the pressure out of it, you do it your way, because then at least that way, irrespective of whether people like it or not, at least it's true to who you are, right?
Yeah.
So you know, I don't want to do, you know, I don't want to study a fight if I didn't find anything worthwhile to study in it. I'm only going to study the ones that I found something that I was like, oh, that's worth looking more at, right? And likewise, you know, when it comes to the podcast, like I enjoy creating the content. I don't want to sit there after every episode to try and find, you know, little snippets. Like I think I put one snippet up out of, you know, 60 something episodes, and I was like, oh, that was painful. Right, like you know, like because you got to edit when you go through an edit and you try and, you know, piece it up so that it's nice and fluent, so it's really like sort of catchy for people. And it's like, you know what, like it's meant to be appreciated in long form. Just let people listen to the whole thing, and if they like it, then you know they can edit it out. I don't care, whatever. Right? Yeah. So, so then how did the fighting come into it then?
So the black friend from high school, the only black friend that I had in high school, he went for his license in Gregory Hills, and right across from it was the UFC gym.
Yes,
in Gregory Hills.
Yep.
And so he was just, and then I was talking to him. I was just like, oh, I would really like to do some jiu-jitsu in this gym. Like, just get like, I've always had that competition side of me. I was like, oh, I would like. That's when I started watching UFC.
Yep.
And then I was just like, oh, like I want to do it, but I'm just like, I just don't really know.
Yep.
And then he was just like, we're already here. Might as well just go in and ask some questions and sign up.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, I don't really want to do it. And it's like, you're not going to come by yourself to go do it. Just Let's do it.
Yeah.
So shout out to Gaffer for actually making me go in the gym.
And did he do it with you?
Yeah. He didn't do it with me. Like
did he sign up at the same time?
No.
Oh, okay. So he just literally just dragged you in there.
Yeah. He was a weightlifter, like a sprinter. Actually, he was a sprinter. He was a really fast sprinter. I don't know why. I don't know if he's still doing it, but he was really good at like. So he knew that he was an athlete at the time. He was dieting. He was really built like. It's Nigerians. Oof, they're built like he was big. Like big boy,
muscular.
Yeah. So he just like told me, just go in and sign up, and or maybe ask a question. You don't even have to sign up. And then I walked in and I was just like, yeah, I'm just here to just see if there's trials or anything, you know, I could try the gym. And then the guy there, he was just like, oh yeah, we do some jiu-jitsu classes. And then it was funny enough, I was just like, I was like, what if I want to have a fight? What do I do?
Yeah.
And then the guy was like, oh, I've had a couple fights too. Yeah, you just keep training, and then hopefully you just get a good coach who just knows people that can fight, or promotions.
Okay.
So this was the first day I'm full on asking about fighting and stuff. So I was like, oh, I'll just sign up. So I signed up.
Yep.
And the next day, or maybe the afternoon after that, I went for my first jiu-jitsu class.
Yep.
And yeah, I just fell in love with the whole thing, because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yep.
I just saw some techniques on UFC, and I was just like I was good enough to hang with, like, I was like, do you know when what white belts just spazzes everywhere? I was one of them.
Yeah.
And then I started off with that, and then they had sparring on I think Friday nights or something.
Okay.
So they were not allowed to spar. They had like a sneaky little after like nighttime sparring before they shut the gym.
Okay.
So I went to that, and then it was just like, I liked the whole, you're thinking about someone else trying to hurt you, so you're trying to avoid getting hurt, and then you're trying to hurt them back, and then you just forget about your whole life, or forget about the problems that you were going through.
Was that jiu-jitsu sparring or?
Nah, like
MMA
actual sparring, MMA sparring.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about. I was just like, I just
no
had
striking.
no striking, no boxing, no kickboxing, just basic jiu-jitsu. Yeah. And this was like 1 week in, and I was already doing the sparring. And then I kept going for a couple months, for maybe like even a year or something. I kept going, and then I started getting better. Yep. Like really good. But it was like a gym of people who wanted to just lose weight. Yeah. And maybe they were just doing it for like fun. Yep. It wasn't like a competition. There was only like one guy who was like good enough like he could be in a fight.
Yep.
Like he was really good as well. He had like a Nate Diaz kind of style. He would just come forward,
Yep,
just eat shots.
Yep.
But
That's
yeah,
not necessarily. Well, it depends on what style you like, but
yeah,
if it works for him, great.
Yeah, I was like, but yeah, he was really good. And then so the coach that was running that sparring, his name was Jeff. He was just like, you're actually all right. Like you're pretty good. Like
Yeah.
for the experience that you have, which is barely anything.
Yeah.
You're pretty good. So he sent me to a gym in Liverpool. He was just like, he gave me a number. He was just like, okay, they have sparring on Saturdays. Go to that gym, and there's people who your weight, and then there's people who do competitions and stuff.
Yep.
So go to that gym and then just tell them you know me.
Mm.
The gym was KMA.
Yep. Did he set you up? Like, did you go there and eat shit the first session? Or?
No, it was actually really good.
Okay. Sometimes people set each other up. Like, they go, I'll go to this gym, tell them you know me, and then they eat shit. Like,
yeah, it was just, I've had a couple of those. It was just not fun. But I went to that, and then I was just like, I was nervous. I was like, okay, this is a step up.
Yeah.
Like, this people my own size
Yep.
fighting, and they compete. And it was like a step up for me. And then I went to the gym, and then there was one guy, shout out Aiden. Aiden, he was in that gym. He was just eyeing me down. He was just like, he's actually the nicest guy in the whole world. But he was just eyeing me down. He's just like, you know, like your new face in the gym and you come in the sparring.
Yeah.
So obviously he has to like,
yeah,
I'm the man in his gym.
Yeah.
So he came in and then we sparred, and then I actually had a really good sparring session because I still had that style of taekwondo stance.
Yeah.
And that style of not wanting to get hit. So I had good head movement.
Yep.
But it wasn't like technical head movement. It was just like
trying to get out of the way.
Get the fuck out of the way. That's what I'm trying. Like that was just me moving the whole time. And I knew some techniques. I knew some takedowns.
Yeah.
I knew some jiu-jitsu controlling. So it was a good session. And after that, it was just like, I just kept going to that gym.
Yeah.
Started doing the classes. I started doing more sparring, and then, I just started falling in love with it.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. So when was the first time that you competed?
I was under the KMA gym.
Yep.
Which was 2018.
Yep. Pre-COVID. Yep.
Yeah, before COVID.
Yep.
So it was under the KMA gym. I had my first fight in UFN.
Yep. An open fight night. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I competed in bantamweight.
Okay.
Didn't cut any weight again.
Yeah.
I woke up on weight. The guy cut weight.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was shaking and everything because he cut a lot of weight.
Yeah.
I could see it in his face because he's just like, he doesn't look right. Like there's something off. But I think it was the weight cutting. So he obviously cut down to bantamweight.
Yep.
He was tall as well.
Yep.
Tall, lanky. Had kickboxing background. So he knew what he was doing in stand up.
Yep.
And I was just like, I've been training for a while. We did cage wrestling.
Yep.
In the gym, so I knew some cage wrestling stuff. I did some kickboxing classes.
Yep.
So I knew some techniques. I did some sparring. And good thing about that gym, they were just like they were really hard on cardio.
Yep.
So you had good cardio.
Good gas tank. Yep.
Yeah. So every single time after sparring, we were just doing like hard cardio. Like this is after rounds, like 10 rounds of just sparring.
Yeah.
And then you do cardio after.
Yep.
So it was just like they were really hard on cardio.
Yep.
But I had my first fight in UFN against I don't remember his name, but we fought in bantamweight. He was big on the day.
Yeah,
he was big, like he was really big, to a point where I was just like I was trying to take him down, and then I lift him up, and then his legs just go on the floor again. And I'm just like,
fuck, it's a heavy leg.
Yeah, and it was just it was a weird experience the first time. Like I was happy that I was there.
Yeah,
but it was weird because I've never been in an actual setting of a fight because that was my first fight. And I've never had any competitions before. So this was like me going in there and like just not knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, everything was just hard.
Yeah.
Every strike he was throwing was hard.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what am I doing here? Yeah. First round, I was just like,
shit, how do I get out?
First round, I was like, why did I sign up for this?
Yeah.
I could have been anywhere else beside here. So my friends were up there. my girlfriend at the time, my girlfriend now, I was still early in the relationship, but she was still there. My friends came up, so I could hear them chanting my name.
Yeah.
And I was like, Percy, Percy. So it was really nice. It was like and the venue was really good. It was like a Luna Park.
Yeah.
And so the guy kicked me in the head first round.
Yep.
And I've never been kicked that hard. Yeah. I was like, I got rocked, but you couldn't tell.
Okay.
You couldn't tell because I just, my instincts came in where what I was doing over and over, which was cage wrestling.
Yep.
So my instinct kicked in. As soon as I got kicked, boom.
Yep.
Cage wrestling the whole time. I was just like holding him on the cage and trying to take him down. And then second round, so after the first round finished, I was just like, oh, I'm already here. Might as well just do it, right?
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is. And then that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to get comfortable and it is what it is. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
And good thing about the guy that I was versing, he was a counter fighter.
Yep.
So I was a counter fighter as well.
Yep.
So we were just waiting for each other. It was weird. We were just fake. And then I'm just like, is he going to throw it? And then I can see in his face.
Is he going to throw
it? Yeah. It was like just us just looking at each other like, oh, come on, do it. So the whole round was just us doing that. And then I think I landed like a couple kicks and a nice jab. And then I was just like, because I remember the first round I hold him in the cage and I felt he was weak.
Yeah.
Like he was big, but I had the strength advantage.
Yep.
Because, I took him on the cage and then I did the outside trip.
Yep.
And then I got him down.
Yep.
And then he couldn't stand up.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if he didn't do any cage wrestling or maybe
You just got him trapped.
Or maybe I was just holding him down the whole time.
Yeah.
But he couldn't stand up the whole time.
Wow.
And then I won the second round by that. Because it was just like the strikes were so even.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, I touch you, you touch me, and then we just wait.
Yeah.
And then third round, I was just like, I'm not going to stand with this guy. Because I saw in his face, I saw his coach is hyping me up to just like, all right, you got to go knock this kid out. Yeah. Like he won the second round. Now you got to go and knock him out. So I could see him like, like getting ready, putting his gloves, like punching his gloves. Yeah. I'm like, oh, this guy's going to come and knock me out. Like I could see him across and I'm just like, yo, he's coming to knock me out right now. Yeah. As soon as they said go, third round, he rushed and then boom, took him down on the cage. And then the whole fight was just me trying to cage wrestling him. Yep. And then he couldn't stand up the whole time and then I won the fight. Yeah. And it was just like, it wasn't what I wanted. Yeah. But that helped me to have a picture of what to expect in a fight. Yeah. And what I need to work on. I watched the fight like 100 times. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, I need to work on this. I'm good at this. I'm going to improve with this. And then that's when I was just like, okay, I need a new gym. Yep. I need a new coach to actually tell me what I'm doing wrong.
So with they didn't really pick up on those things, or?
So the coach,
and you don't have to speak bad of them. I just mean like, like stylistically, I guess, there's many different coaching styles. Yeah. Right. So I guess, was there structure sort of like, okay, this is the technique we're doing today. You drill that technique and then you do your cardio and that's it.
No, it was just come in and do what you want.
Oh, okay. So there wasn't really structure.
Yeah. There was no, it was just like classes going on and then you just do what you want and then you can do some cage wrestling and then they're sparring on Saturdays. Okay. So I needed a coach who, because I wanted it I was taking it so seriously. I was just like, I love the part of the sport of the training. Yep. But I also want to get better at.
You get more technical.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I want to get better at the point where I can go to a fight and be ready and have somebody in my corner telling me, because you don't want to have somebody in your corner who doesn't know you. Yeah. Like the coach that I was with back then, you could see him like once a week.
Oh, okay.
So it was just like, he'd come in and then he would do some jiu-jitsu stuff and then he'd go away. Yeah. And then it's like, he's in my corner telling me some stuff and I'm just like.
You're not in sync.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't hear your voice that much. Now I'm hearing it in the most like deepest part of like the whole sport, which is the fighting part.
You're in the most intense part. Yeah. You're fighting and now it's like he's trying to coach you. It's like, well, I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, it's like your voice doesn't sound familiar.
So I have to tell this story because so today at today's session, Cass we were doing the the cage wrestling, well, the wrestling rounds from Turtle, and Cass was with Far, and I was, you know, trying to help them both. So I was doing a bit of coaching at the same time, and I think what's happened is Cass has hit her head on the cage. She posted a story about it, right? And then she wrote in a story, oh, you know, at Johnny Apps, you know, thanks for telling me to suck it up. And I'm like, and I messaged her, I'm like, whoa, what happened? Like, you know, when did you do the lump on your head? And she goes, oh, I thought you saw it, and that's why you're telling me to suck it up. And I'm like, no, Cass, I was telling you to wrestle up. So Cass, shout out to you for obviously, you know, we weren't 100% in sync, but you said it helped you, you know, that I was telling her to suck it up so that you weren't thinking about it. But for the record, I wasn't being a bastard and saying, hey, you know, you just smacked your head on the cage and got cheese grated.
Grow up.
Yeah, suck it up, eat some concrete. No, I was telling you, wrestle up.
Get up from the cage.
Yeah. So, sorry. Yeah. So you were back to, so you wanted to try and find, you know, someone who was in sync with you. Yep.
Yeah. Just someone who tells me when I'm doing wrong.
Yep.
Tells me how to improve.
Yep.
And, you know, someone who actually cares.
Yeah.
To a point where it's like I feel comfortable with them telling me, because I don't like getting told what to do.
Yeah.
I have that.
You need to have that respect already.
Yeah. It's like, who are you? Why are you telling me what to do? You don't know me. I don't know you. But I needed someone to, like, in training session, like when coach comes in and then we're doing drills, and then he goes to every single student and he's like, oh, you're doing it wrong, try doing this. That's good. Like that's if it's in a fight and then he's telling you that, your brain will go back to, oh, okay, this guy tells me what to do during practice, so I'm gonna listen to him because he knows what's right. So it's like I needed that. I needed someone to coach me, be a coach, and not be just owning a gym. And then I'm fighting under the gym. I needed someone, you know, to tell me what to do. So that's where I went to Instagram, and then Anthony, do you know Anthony?
Pascal?
Yeah. We used to have the same boxing coach, Body Punch, Skinny Hussein. We used to do the same boxing coach. And then, so I heard about him, and then we were meant to fight, actually.
Oh, you and Anthony?
Yeah, we were meant to fight on bantamweight.
Yep.
And which is, now that I spy him, and I'm just like, this is 2 different weight classes. It's, what was I thinking going, but yeah, it was just like, I saw his coach, Renato, where I saw some Instagram videos of him, and I was just like, yo, it's actually really good classes. Like, he's teaching the students what to do. And then what he stands on, like what his morals are. They go along with what I believe. And it's just like, I felt the connection, even if I haven't met him. I felt that connection way before. And then I messaged him, and I was like, oh, I would like to join the gym and try it. And then he was like, yeah, just come in, sparring, or maybe come into the drill classes and then see how you go. And then I joined, and then he was just like so welcoming, where I was just like, yo, I wanna do this. If I pursue this career or this opportunity that I get in mixed martial arts, I want you to be
with you.
I want to go with this journey with you. And since then, I was just like, I just trust in whatever he says. To a point where my style has evolved so much since my first fight. Like, I'm a totally different fighter. Like, to a point where I'm just like, I look back and I'm just like, wow, it's pretty good. Like,
well, you've got to grow.
That's the one thing. That's what I'm doing right now. It's just slowly evolving my style. Because one thing about MMA in Australia, especially, it's a small community. So they talk. Everyone talks. Like, you don't hear, but in gyms, people talk about. So,
and a lot of people know, like, so, you know, and I'm blessed in the sense that, you know, I've got friends in lots of different gyms, because I've been to lots of different gyms and you know, spent time with different people, and as a result, you know, so like, you know, it's always hard for me, you know, like if I see 2 people that I know going up to fight each other, it's like, oh shit, take a step back, you know. Like, you know, I'm rooting for you both. Like, I don't want either of you to lose. Right. So
you can't really dodge anything, because
you can't.
It's small
community.
It's so small, and everyone talks in the gym. So it's like, they see my fights. They come to the fights. My future opponents are they're in the audience, looking at me. So they know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
They study me. So obviously I have to evolve my style. I have to like start growing and not just doing one style.
Exactly.
That's what I'm doing right now, and I'm not gonna say what I'm doing right now. I'm working on.
You're
stuff.
working on, yeah.
I'm working on stuff to add on to what I already have.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm slowly doing it. That's the one thing about amateurs where you get a fight. My previous fight, my last fight, not how I wanted it to go. It was a really boring fight. I watched it back. Super boring fight.
Yeah.
And that's not me.
Yeah.
I wanna get to that point where whenever I'm fighting, I want you to NA for work.
Yeah.
Like I want to get to that point where it's like exciting fights, but I don't want to get any damage.
Yeah.
I don't want to be slagfesting.
Yeah.
I want to.
It's not. It's also styles make fights too, right? Like,
yeah.
You know, if you have a counter striker against a counter striker, like it's always going to be, you know, a difficult. Like it's not going to be as exciting where if somebody's just walking forward pushing the pace.
Yeah.
Right. So, but at the same time, you know, the more I always view it as the more weapons you have in the arsenal.
Exactly.
You know, you only need to be better in one area of the mixed martial arts game. So, like, if you're better at cage wrestling, then if you can just focus on the cage wrestling and get it to the cage wrestler, you're going to win the fight.
Right? If you meet someone else who's a cage wrestler as well.
Now you might have to be a better striker.
Yeah.
Right? Or you might have to be better on off your back. Like, it really depends. Every style matchup is a little bit different. But the beauty of mixed martial arts and why there's so many variables and so many different outcomes is because, you only need to be better in one spot. And if you don't, if you can use that to your advantage, and the other person doesn't remove that weapon from the table, right, then you'll chances are you'll win, right. So that like I like that. That's one of the things I love about mixed martial arts, you know, and for me, like why I like to study it is because everybody loves to see, you know, those big knockouts and things like that.
Yeah.
But for me, like that doesn't actually excite me as much as when I see like a similar scenario play out multiple times in a fight. So when I look at things, I always look at those things because I think, you know, if the same exchange happens, say 10 times in a fight and nobody makes an adjustment, well, the person that was winning that initial exchange will always win that exchange, right? But then, you know, when you see the same scenario play out, say 2 or 3 times, and then the other guy makes an adjustment, boom, now there's a knockout or a knockdown or something like that. And then it's like, okay, now that this person survived that knockdown, what are they going to do to adjust their style?
Yeah,
right. That's what I like. I like that, you know, because that's like the chess element, right? Like where we're going. Okay, now, I think you and I, we had that the other time when we were one of the sparring sessions. It was like I'll throw my left leg as a low kick, and you would come with your left to counter over the top. I think. Was it left or right? No, it might have been my right. I might have been throwing right inside or something like that, and you would throw your the same side to my right leg over the top. And then, so it's like, okay, a couple of times you hit me with it, and it's like, okay, I got to change it up. And so then I think I threw it, and then I threw the cross right after it, and I was like, oh yeah, got you. Yeah. We looked at each other, right?
Yeah, that's what I like about it. It's like if you don't know about the sport, like I'm learning about the sport right now.
Yeah.
But for people who are fresh in the sport, they're just like, oh, it's just fighting. Like you just go in there and just boom, boom, boom. It's really technical.
Yeah.
Like it's to a point where like some people I spar with, who like, you know, that there's levels to the game, obviously.
Yeah.
But there's some people who you spar with, and then it's like it's mentally draining to just spar them because you're constantly thinking about. Because they're one slip, you get clipped.
Yep.
It's like you're constantly thinking. When I'm sparring you, especially you, it's like because you hit like you don't hit like super hard.
Yeah.
But your strikes are heavy.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want to get touched by one of your strikes. So that's why I'm always like, I feint, trying to draw out what you're going
to
do. Throw.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, I like that chess match where we always have when we're sparring. It's like, oh, what is he going to do? We're setting up something.
We're trying to work it out.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. It's like, it's not just the physical part. It's also the mental part of it.
Yeah.
You use your brain most of the time. Like pretty much like the physical part is just there to help you
to keep being able to perform.
Right. The cardio is just there for you to keep letting your brain be active.
Yeah.
Like That's what the physical part is.
Yeah.
The physical part doesn't really do anything. If you don't have any like mental part on lock, or if you're just aiming and just throwing, spamming stuff, like the lowest person or the non-experienced person will clip you.
Yeah.
Like you will get hurt.
Yeah.
With a person who doesn't know how to fight.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's like, but if your brain is turned on and your physical part is there, then that's when it becomes interesting.
Yeah.
But if you have the physical part, but your mental part is just locked, you get hurt everywhere. Yeah. By everyone.
It's a lot of focus too. Like, you know, so where I train kickboxing, like sometimes we do a lot of rounds, right? Like when I say a lot of rounds, like we'll just do an hour straight of rounds.
Sparring.
Yeah, kickboxing sparring. and so shout out to the boys at JNS, you know, so Dan's a coach there and sometimes we do rounds and he cleans up our technique as we go. But, you know, like there's been sessions where it's like when I'm hitting that last 15 minutes of the rounds, like we've already been sparring for like 45 minutes. And then it's like, okay, mentally you're not there anymore. Like you're just like the brain's had enough. Yeah, right. And so it's like, you know, the cardio is fine and like the everything else is fine. But it's like, you know, the shots are coming, but then you're not thinking anymore. You just sort of like, you're reacting, but you're not really, you sort of like abandon some of your technical aspects because you're just not focused. Yeah. Right. And you sort of get through that last 15 minutes and you go, fuck, I can't remember what happened in that last 15 minutes. And it's not because of CTE or trauma. It's just it's just legitimately like, you know, the mental focus is like, you know, when you spar for that long, like you don't compete for that long. Like you don't, when you're in the cage,
like 15
minutes. 15 minutes. Max is if you're doing, you know, championship rounds in the UFC and it's 25 minutes, right? Yeah. Doesn't sound like a lot of time, but then, you know, when you go and do, you know, rounds upon rounds, like sometimes we do there, and it's like, like you get to that threshold and it's like the things that, you know, weren't hitting you at the start of the day are now hitting you because it's like you're just sensory overload.
That's what I like about MMA.
Yeah.
When it gets to that part, then you can switch to another art, which is maybe wrestling.
Wrestle it, yeah.
Then your brain's like, all right,
something fresh.
Switching, now we're switching. It's a different cardio. It's a different strength. It's a different way to go about. So when I get tired with striking, if I'm striking with someone and I'm just like, all right, I'm bored now.
Yeah, time to wrestle.
I'm gonna take you down.
Yeah,
that's what I like about MMA. Like right now, I'm doing boxing. Boxing is just like, it's a whole different sport. It's just like when I'm in there, I'm just like constantly, because they're constantly on your face. Yeah, like sparring.
Yeah, you're in the pocket all the time.
Yeah, it's always like, and I don't like getting hit. So whoever I'm fighting next, don't hit me. So I don't like getting hit. But with boxing, it forces you to be comfortable
in the fire.
Be comfortable getting hit, or being comfortable with like slipping shots or taking some shots to give a shot. Yep. It's like, it's hard.
Yeah. Because the scoring's different too.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, I always talk about this, right? Like, you know, how did we come up with different styles of martial art? Well, it's just purely based on, from a sport perspective, it's purely based on what it's judged on. Right? Yeah. So the evolution of mixed martial arts in terms of like, so the rule set for UFC has evolved that way because of the rule set as well. Right. So you see, you know, at the start when they used to always stand people up, right? That led to people being more striking and wrestling heavy. Right. And then so originally, you know, jiu-jitsu was like the primary, you know, thing that kicked off a lot of people's interest in UFC because you had the Gracies there, you know, submitting bigger guys, right? Like wearing people down, no time limit fights or 30-minute time limits, and, you know, where it was the Wild West. And then as they started to tighten up on the rule sets, the styles changed, right? So, you know, then it became, okay, you do need to have some jiu-jitsu because you need to be able to counter and defend, you know, when somebody's on their back. And then it became, okay, now we start to move into like the age of the wrestlers, and the wrestlers were really dominant for a period of time. And then you had like the next wave was like the rise of the strikers. You know, like you had the era of like Lyoto Machida and those guys who were elusive strikers start to come up and get a lot of knockouts and things like that as people were trying. Yeah, right. And then now you're seeing like, well, it's not good enough to just be, you know, have one slightly better. You got to be good at all three. You know, like now if you look at all the champions, they're good at pretty much most areas. Like you look at you know, Izzy's takedown defense. Yeah, right.
Beautiful.
Right, even though he's a amazing kickboxer. Yeah. Right, but he's worked on his takedown defense to make that, you know, Mickey Mouse as well.
Yeah.
Right. So they're not just, and you don't really know how good his ground game is because he's never had to use it.
Yeah, he's never had to. Like, he always says he has a good ground game.
Yeah.
So maybe he does, but
he's never had to use it, right?
Like, he's always had great defense.
Yeah.
That's the one person that, like, when he made his UFC debut.
Yep.
And then he fought this Australian guy. I forgot his name. But he made his UFC debut, and I was just like, whoa. That guy looks like me.
I could do this.
He has the same haircut that I have. This is when I was finishing high school.
Yeah.
So I was still lost on what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yo, that guy looks cool.
Yeah.
And he's not even like scary, or he's not like, he doesn't have like crazy muscles or anything. He's just like coming along, dancing.
Yeah.
And then goes and then styles on this guy.
Yeah.
Does some crazy kicks, and then at the end he just calls out the whole division.
Yeah.
And just walks out. That was the coolest thing. I was just like, yo, that is cold. He was just like, he just did his thing, and he was himself. He didn't try to be anybody else. And I was just like, yo, that's mad. And I was just like,
so I guess from that perspective, right? It helps to have role models, right? Like,
you need role models.
Yeah.
Like, I know I saw his video. He was saying he's not a role model.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to be a role model because he's playing a role or something.
Yeah.
But he has a lot of impact on everyone, but especially young African males.
Yeah.
Including me.
Yeah.
He has a lot of, he's had him being a champion right now, him, Kamaru Usman,
Francis Ngannou,
Francis and him being the 3 champions in big weight classes.
Yep.
Just, it gives you that, it's like, because I know where I came from.
Yeah.
And I know their backstories of, they've said the backstories. And it's like, they came to a similar place where I was from. And now they're there. It just gives you so much energy and so much hype where you're like, whoa, if they did it, what?
Why can't you?
Yeah, I can do it as well. It's just like, I know he said he doesn't want to be a role model, but he plays
I think he why he says that, it's more like he doesn't want people to worship him, right? Like like people go, so. I think there's a fine line, with, and I think that's a very humble way to approach it, right? Is because you can inspire a lot of people, right? But doesn't necessarily mean that you want to be a role model, right?
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want somebody to try and emulate, my life or what I've done, right? That's my life and my experiences. You're more than welcome to. If you're passionate about that and you have the same things behind you that force you down that pathway, absolutely go for it. But you shouldn't be trying to be. It's like basically trying to be somebody that you're not, right?
Yeah.
I think he's saying it from the perspective, he wants people to be who they are, right? So be who you want to be. And then if you walk down a similar pathway because that's what you actually really want to do, fantastic. If not, don't worry, right? You don't have to be him. You don't have to be like him.
Yeah.
There's enough room in this world. We got 7-something billion people, right? For each person to walk down their own pathway.
Yeah.
And I think that's the important thing. But I think it is important that people have heroes.
Yeah.
Because it's like the story about, like, I think for the longest period of time, I can't remember the name of the athlete, but people were trying to crack a 4-minute mile. So be able to run a mile in 4 minutes, under 4 minutes. And for the longest time, it was impossible until the first person did it. And then after the first person did it, there was a string of people that managed to break the 4-minute mile. And all it was just the knowledge that, hey, it can be done.
Yeah.
Right? So I think, that's the power in what those champions have created, is that, for guys that have come from circumstances like yours or similar circumstances to them, they go, we can do something like that too. Like, I don't know if did you ever listen to the Francis Ngannou on Joe Rogan's podcast?
Yeah.
Like that story.
Crazy.
Woo!
Yeah.
What a story, right?
I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
To a point where it's like, is he lying? I'm
like this is like, one day people will make a fucking movie about that because that's how amazing that story is.
Yeah, it's actually a really good story.
Yeah. So, if anyone obviously hasn't checked that out, that is an episode that is, really, really worthwhile to check out. But that's not to take away from anybody else's story, because at the end of the day, that's why, I do the podcast, right? Because I'm curious in everybody's story. And a lot of people say to me, oh, Johnny, I'm not interesting, right? But it's like, well, interesting in what relation? Like, what questions are you thinking I'm going to ask you?
Yeah, it's like
right?
just having a chat.
Yeah, like you don't need to have like some elaborate story. Like to me, I find even the simple stories to be really enlightening, right? Because I think, what I've learned from doing all these episodes is I get to see, what's inside of someone, like what are some of the things that drive them, that motivate them. And then, you also realize like what are the things that they might be scared of as well. Like what are their barriers to actually trying to be that it's stopping them from being their best person, right? And sometimes people don't even realize that they have these barriers, and something like, I might ask them a couple of questions and they go, I've never thought about it like that. And, if that helps them, fantastic. If not, look, at the end of the day, I was asking for my own curiosity, because I one of the things that I love to do is just try and, when I hear you tell me about, what your living conditions are like in Kenya, like I try and picture myself in those situations as well, and I know I'll never experience the same thing, but at least I can empathize, with what it was, right? And I think that's a better way for me to understand people than to go, oh, yeah, like, and I'll go on a bit of tangent here, but like, people that go like, oh, we need to support refugees and this and that. And it's like, but do you know anything about what their life was like? Do you know like what their upbringing was like, and for you, you had for you it was a happy upbringing.
Yeah.
Right. And then people want to use that like charity and go, oh, Percy, I feel so sorry for you. No, fuck that. Like, you don't need that charity.
Yeah, I had.
Right. I don't want your fucking pity.
Yeah.
Right? I know that sounds pretty rough, but but it's true, right? Like, your experience is your own experience. Like, you don't need somebody to tell you what it was that you experienced.
Yeah. It's like when you explain a story, when somebody says, oh, that's really sad. Like, no, that's what I was going through then, and I was happy.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a bad, it might be a bad experience to you because you're comparing it to what you have now. Yeah. And it's obviously going to be different.
Yep.
But it's not a bad thing to have like challenges in your life when let's say you were younger.
Yeah.
Some people, they still have that childhood memories of when they were bad, and they're carrying it when they were when they're old.
Yeah.
And I'm just like it's obviously not easy to let go.
Yep.
But it comes to a point where you're like, yo, let it go.
Yep.
Like whatever happened, try and work with it.
Yep.
And acknowledge it.
Yep.
And just not move on.
Yeah.
Like just go with it and not let it like push you down the whole time when you're like, oh, I don't want to do this because I remember when my mom didn't want me to do this and she wasn't there. And I'm just like, all right, that's in the past.
Yeah.
Try and make a better thing now because you're getting old and obviously you're going to have kids. Are you going to be telling them bad stories what happened when you were young? And we're like, that's ages ago. That's right. Years ago. You're a different person right now. So grow your mental state and try and grow out of it. It's
almost like, and the way I like to describe this is, right, when you're growing up, you might think that, so you're already being given a perspective, right? So when it doesn't matter what family you're from, you can almost imagine it like you're wearing contact lenses from the moment you're born, because everything you see, everything you perceive has been filtered through, whether it's the way that your parents have taught you or your friends. You have these lenses that you're already on your eyes that you don't realize. And as you get older and then you get to this point where it's like, oh, now I realize that I'm an individual, I'm a person, right? Then it's like, if you don't actually stop and take a second to go, why do I think this way about that certain thing? And then you might rub your eyes and realize, oh shit, I've got these contact lenses on, right? And then that's why that's the whole see to get paradigm, right? That's why you're viewing things in this particular light. That, when I was young, I got told that I couldn't do this or I couldn't do that. And hence, that's what you're still seeing. And it's only the moment when you take those contact lenses off your eyes and you realize that, hey, I could have an alternate perspective here. Yeah. Right? And I think, for most people that, go through, I guess difficult, circumstances or times, it's either they blame other people for it or they take accountability for themselves. Right. And a lot of the times it's, a lot of people just like, it's easy to blame someone else.
Yeah. It's way easier to blame someone else.
Yeah. We go, oh, it's not my fault. This is the circumstances that I grew up in. And, it was my parents or this or that or my friends.
I hate it.
Right?
I'm always like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Right. But then, one of the best statements that I really like in relation to that is, how am I complicit in the outcomes that I'm receiving? Right. So it's not saying that you're fully to blame.
Yeah.
But you're complicit in what you're getting in life. Right. Like if you've accepted that, oh, well, that's just the way life is.
Yeah.
Well, then fuck, that's what you're going to get.
That's what life is. That's how it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's like different perspective and how, like, if you get, one thing that my mom taught me when I was younger is if you have, let's say something bad happens.
Yeah.
All right. You can grieve. You can cry about it. It's good.
Yep.
Because some people usually just like
suppress
put it down there.
Yeah.
But it's good to cry about it. Yeah. Or they drink it out, But it's good to cry about it. And it's good to just take some time to acknowledge it. But what's next?
Yep.
You got to have the what's next factor.
Yeah. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah. It's like, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit there and just cry about it or hide it?
Yep.
Or are you going to face it?
Yep.
And tell it, all right, this happened.
Yep.
Now I'm going to find a way out.
Yep.
And that's one thing that I'm still learning, where it's like, let's say when I'm fighting or something.
Yep.
Or when I started off, I was scared. Everyone, if someone tells you they're not scared,
they're full
in
of
a fight, nah, bullshit.
Yeah.
It's scary going in there not knowing the outcome.
Yeah.
And people watching you.
Yeah.
And you knowing that you have to perform and you've put in the pressure throughout the whole weeks of you getting ready for a fight. But it's always like having that mindset of, all right, I'm facing this obstacle in front of me and I'm going to go do it no matter what happens. And whatever happens, I know I will be able to say what's next.
Yep.
And having that comfort, knowing that you're going to be able to know what's next.
Yep.
Or maybe you're going to have the opportunity to have another chance to do something else.
Yep.
It's always like, it's so comforting. You just like, you can do whatever you
want.
Yeah. It's like, even if you're scared, you're like, all right, I'm just going to go do it because I know I'm going to be all right.
Yeah. Most people never even try.
Yeah. Like I always try, even if I know it's not going to be like, like the best outcome, but it's like, who knows? It's like, I always just try it, at least give it a go. Yeah. Even if I'm like, even my last opponent, he was big.
Wasn't he like 20 kilos heavy or something?
He was a big guy. I was just like, he took me to the cage and I was just like, he wasn't strong, but he was just heavy. It was just like, yo, it was like, we're not in the same weight class at all. But I was just like, I'm not scared. Yeah. Like, I'm worried of the outcome, obviously. Yeah. But I'm not scared of you because you just have a weight advantage over me. And I'm not scared. I will go in. Yeah, let's go. Face you. Yep. And you better bring your A game because I'm gonna bring my A game. Yeah. But it is what it is. I'm never just like scared of anything. Yeah. I'm always like, okay, I know I'm gonna get through it. And if I don't, then I'm going to find a way. Yeah. Out of curiosity, and I think this will be a good way to end this podcast, right? How does your mum feel about it, the fighting? Oh, I just what did she say when you started getting into it? She was like, why? Like, I think she's still, until the money start rolling in, until I start paying bills with fighting, then nah, she's always like, why? Yeah. Well, why are you doing this? It's like she's obviously she wants me to pursue what I want. Yeah. But she's always like nervous every single time I'm about to go fight. Yeah. Or when I tell her I need to go train, and it's like, why? You went to training this morning and you're going again. Yeah. It's like, why? Why are you doing this? It's like, just go get more shifts at work instead of training all the time. Yeah. But I obviously have goals and visions of me doing what I love, and like I have those visions of me being at a point of my life where the MMA and the fighting career creates opportunities. It just like opens doors for me. Yeah. So that's why I always do it, because at the moment I'm just like no one really knows what they're doing, to be honest. That's what I've noticed with like if someone might tell you what like their plans in life, but no one really knows what they're doing. Yeah. Like like, it's always like, because every single day is different.
Yep.
Like you wake up one day and then you might just be sick and you're dying in a few days.
Yeah.
No one really knows what they're doing. That's what I've noticed is like, obviously I have goals and plans, but at the end of the day, it's like whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
And whatever happens in my life, I will acknowledge it and I'll say what's next, and then we'll move on from there.
Yeah.
But I'm not like that's what I was putting pressure on myself actually.
Yeah.
I've even during my last fight, I was putting pressure on myself, and I'm just like, okay, I need to go train. I need to go do this. I need to go do this because I need to get certain things in my life.
Yep.
But I was forgetting the process of it.
Yeah.
Enjoying the process of me driving to training.
Yeah.
Me going and shaking my teammate's hand and then them telling me, oh, I just had boxing today.
Yeah.
I forget those moments, and those moments is what makes everything worth it.
That's it.
Like when you win that, when I win a title, putting it out there, I don't care what promotion I'm gonna win the title at.
It's coming.
But when I win a title, it's not gonna be that like I'm gonna be excited to win the title.
But it's never about the goal.
Yeah,
it's always about the journey.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna go back when the cameras are not even on. I'll go back to training.
Yeah.
And then my teammates are gonna look at the gold belt that I have, and they're like, "Wow, this is sick." And then maybe the way I'm gonna win the fight, it's like, "Oh, you did that in training, and then that's how you won the title with it."
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's what I'm slowly starting to get comfortable with. It's not the end goal, not me having all this money that I know I'm gonna get all this money, but not me having all these luxury cars.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want that.
Yeah.
But I also wanna be happy with the moments, the little moments of me walking and inspiring.
It's the memories, man.
Yeah, me just me sitting here with you.
Yeah.
You know, like just little stuff like that.
Yeah.
The coach telling me, or maybe when you're sparring with someone and then you try some funny shit, like put some
Get topped off.
some move, and you're like, and then you just laugh along with it. Just little stuff like that, and enjoying just the little moments.
Yeah.
And then they'll build up to the big moments, and the big moments won't feel like something massive. It would just feel like an everyday thing.
Yeah.
Because you just because you enjoyed the little moments.
Yeah.
That's what I like about fighting and training and life, is just enjoying the little moments.
Yeah.
And like the tiniest thing, like, that's what I like about it.
All right. Well, that's I think that's a beautiful way to end this. We've already done a couple of hours. So.
How long has it been? 2 hours.
2 hours, brother.
Oh my!
We sit here and it goes into the time warp, brother.
2 hours. I thought it was like an hour or something.
Yeah, nah, easy. It's always the case. Like whenever I do a podcast, it's like 2 hours just goes in a blink of an eye.
What?
And you don't think about it, right? And then whoever listens to this, and look, I do get people message me all the time about it. But thank you for listening. Whoever my supporters are, I don't know why, but some of my viewership is in the States as well. But whoever is listening in the States, feel free to message me sometime. I'd love to know who you guys are, but it's just weird for me when I look at some of the stats. I actually try not to look at it. I just try and focus on creating content, and whatever happens, happens. All right.
You're doing good, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for
my pleasure.
Putting me in your wanting to know what I.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was in that kind of person that you would want to know. But
that's what I say. Like, this is what when it comes to me, I'm interested in people full stop, and like, so, when I, and as I said, I can learn from everyone, right? Just because you're younger than me doesn't mean I can't learn from you. Like I listen to those stories, and that fires me up too, makes me more grateful about, just thinking about your mum makes me more grateful about my own mum, and so these are the things that I love about the podcasting format. And, one day, I always say, so my latest thing that I like to, remind myself, because, for me at the moment, sometimes, I can be a bit lost, it's like, I'm not out there trying to win titles or anything. Like I just love training. Yeah. Right. I am. So one of the things I am trying to do is obviously get myself into more commentary and that side of things. So, I'll work on that. And if there's any promotions out there who wants my silky, lovely voice to commentate your fights, let me know. I'm available.
You have a really silky voice. It'd be nice when you're watching fights and then he's talking in the background. That'll be good.
Yeah, and I actually know my shit, so
you know your background stuff.
So like for me, that's the thing that I really enjoy about this podcast is that, you know, I can talk to all sorts of people, you know, and I always say it is actually open to anyone who wants to come on. Like, as long as people don't necessarily have an agenda, like you want to come on and just spruik something and be fake with me. Like, you know, if you're going to come on my show, like we're going to talk about, you know, what was life growing up? We're going to talk about all the nitty gritty things. And, you know, if there are things that people don't want to talk about, yeah, absolutely. But like, I want to understand who people are as a person, you know, why, just like what you said, you know, when you're sparring with someone, you go, oh, okay, there's something in them, you know?
Yeah, it's like, you want to know.
You know. Yeah. All right. But, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And if people want to find you, how do they find you?
Percy _ Inc. Not INC.
Okay.
Percy _ Inc.
No $sign, right?
Nah, no $.
No $sign. So
no $.
PERCI
_
Inc.
INK.
Yeah, on Instagram.
Yeah. Next time we're gonna have a belt right here.
That's it. That's it.
Whatever promotion wants to give me a belt, UFN.
Hey.
I know UFN. We're not gonna talk about UFN. UFC, World Championship, Bellator. I'm coming. Flyweights. Watch out.
Hey. Thanks, everyone.